morning, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Back with you here on Bowl TV for round 3, the QubicaAMF PWBA Players Championship, live from Buffalo Lanes North here in Raleigh, North Carolina. My name is Emil Williams Jr. Pleased to be joined momentarily by Daniel Farish, Aaron Smith in the building, along with Curtis Von Kruger. Tournament staff, Neil Milligan, Director of Operations, Kathy Watka. Handling all scores, Kathy Kavicki. Handling our on-site merchandise, which already a hit this week. It already hit this morning. It's a little chilly in the building. So I saw a few folks taking a look at some PWBA hoodies. You too can get yourself a PWBA hoodie, sweatshirt, t-shirt. We've got some teddy bears now as well. Some cool drawstring bags. We got like a pillow situation happening. A lot of stuff, so check out shoppwba.com. This is game 1 of 6, final 6 games of qualifying. There will be 18 total games of qualifying. That includes the 12 games yesterday across 2 rounds. Yesterday we began at 8 in the morning. Round 2 began at 1 p.m. Your leader after 12 games yesterday, Sherry Tan at plus 500. And second, Shannon Pluhowski at plus 363. Well, the only 2 lefties in the field. Leading the way after 12 games, the Hall of Famer Liz Johnson is in third. She was leading at one point. Yesterday, she is third at plus 334. Clara Guerrero fourth at plus 280. Liz Colkin fifth at plus 269. Birgit Poplar sixth at plus 256. Dasha Kovalova is seventh at plus 254. Missy Parkin eighth at plus 249. Daria Payo is ninth at plus 242. Elise Bolton is 10th at plus 240. Danielle McEwen is 11th at plus 218, followed by Brianna Cote in 12th at plus 210. Valerie Bercier at plus 204. Sydney Brummett is 14th at plus 181. Val at 13th, by the way. Stephanie Johnson in 15th at plus 171. Rocio Restrepo is 16th at plus 166. Shannon O'Keefe 17th at plus 162. And right now, the cut player, that is Lindsay Boomershine, has finished 3rd and 5th in consecutive years at this event. She is the cut line right now, 18th at plus 160. Nicole Trudell, who we get a chance to see here on 25 and 26 here this morning, is 19th at plus 126. Again, we take the top 18 on to match play tomorrow. However, the cash line goes all the way down to 32nd place. That number right now is plus 40 and held by Sandra Gondora of Mexico. Again at plus 40. If you joined us yesterday, we of course touched on what's at stake. In regards to final opportunities to qualify for the Tour Championship, this is the final event of the regular season. Then the pinnacle event of the year, the Tour Championship at Richmond Raceway in Richmond, Virginia, just 2 weeks away. That is what these players are vying for, of course, along with an opportunity at a 3rd major. This is the 3rd major of the season. Someone will win a title. Will it be their first major? Will it be their second? Could it be their 11th, for example. A lot to get into as we'll continue to talk about points. On our feature pairs this morning, Tanya Rodman-Per, Shannon O'Keefe, and Jazriel Tan on 23 and 24. O'Keefe, the reigning player of the year, in a battle again here in 2019 with Danielle McEwen for the right to be called 2019 Player of the Year. And just like last year, it looks like it could come down to this very event. It could come down to the Tour Championship. It's going to be one of the two. Right now, O'Keefe up, looking for 7 in a row. That's in. And the 4 goes. The 9 remains. But nonetheless, a good start. A Hall of Famer Liz Johnson now on 26. She is joined by Jasmine Gigi Mason, Rocio Restrepo, and Nicole Trudell. And Liz gets the 7 and the 10 both to fall. Early in the first game of 6 again. Moving on to the top 18. That is where you want to be if you would like to continue on in the event. For some, this is the final event of the season as they will not qualify for the Tour Championship. Jasmine Mason, still an opportunity to get there. In fact, every player here right now who entered this event had an opportunity to make the Tour Championship, because the Players Championship is for is a members-only event. So if you win a title here, of course, not only you win a major, but it does count in the history books and the record books, and that would earn you a spot in the Tour Championship. So we still, still don't know. We got lots to figure out, obviously. Great shot there from Trudell. A player like Nicole Trudell, who bowls a few events a year, but certainly has the talent and the capabilities to make a run at a title, especially at a major. Finished 5th back in the 2017 U.S. Women's Open. Gigi Mason could get there. Finished 2nd recently at the Go Bowling Regional Showdown, falling to former collegiate teammate at Nebraska and fellow national champion Julia Bond. Speaking of Julia Bond, she is in the Rookie of the Year race with Valerie Bercier. We'll talk a little bit about that as we go along today. It's very possible that we could know who's going to win Rookie of the Year before this day is complete. Other news and notes to keep in mind. DQ, Daniel Farish, able to get a couple of sound bites throughout, from a few players prior to the start of this round. So we'll hear from a few players throughout the day. For example, Lindsay Boomershine coming up next game. Sandra Gungor, Summer Jasmine in Game 3. Haley Richard in Game 4, and in Game 6, we'll have a little bit of sound from Sid the Kid, Sydney Brummett. So we've got a great show for you today, as we welcome into the broadcast for the first time today, the sounds of Louisville, Kentucky, Daniel Farish.
Glad to be here, Mr. Emil Williams. Another fine day here in Raleigh. A little more overcast than we've had the last couple of days.
Yes, and that is one of the other notes for today. For those of you who are under the sound of my voice currently, we'll make the necessary adjustments. But match play round number 1 this evening, or this afternoon, will begin at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Not 1 p.m. today. It will begin at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Please make note of that. There is the anticipation of some inclement weather, of course, due to Hurricane Dorian. I mentioned yesterday that Thursday was the day that we were supposed to get rain here in Raleigh, and that is holding to be true. So just in case, it'll allow the players to potentially navigate the roads if they need to, if they feel to leave the building. Players' opportunity to have some more time, obviously. The ball drilled, etc., etc. I'll tell you, my last few years around the early portion of September have been filled with hurricanes. Obviously, it's hurricane season, but you know about hurricanes, you see them, you understand what happens, and unfortunate sometimes the devastation that they can cause. But sometimes you don't really know or pay attention to the season until you see one, until you hear about it on the news, the weather forecast, or if it directly affects you. Especially from someone who is from the Midwest and doesn't quite see hurricanes that often. But I'll never forget going to the on the old honeymoon in 2017 at the airport at PWBA, actually in Baltimore. Nice, friendly woman, just having a conversation. She says, "Hey, does your family think you're crazy too?" And I was a little kind of stuck. I had no idea what she was talking about. So of course I said, "What do you mean?" in a very puzzled look. And she said, "Oh, we're flying into a hurricane." And I said, "Hurricane?" Then of course the next thing you do is open up your phone, pull up the weather app, and there it is. Boom. Hurricane Irma. Heading straight for where we were going, the Dominican Republic. Oh, okay, that hurricane. Oh, well, all right. And of course, what ensued was 1.5 days of pure bliss, celebrating a new marriage. Then there was flat chaos for the next 2 days after that of evacuating a resort in Punta Cana and being bused an hour and a half, 2 hours away to Santo Domingo, where we spent the next day and a half, almost 2 full days, at a new hotel, not a resort, but away from what could have been obviously a very dangerous situation. Come on, 5-pin, it won't go for Tanya Raumemper, and she'll be in the 220s. And then finally we made our way back to our original resort in Punta Cana for our Friday. We got most of the Friday back. Partied hard, to say the least, to enjoy it. Met some cool people along the way because we were all kind of in this thing together. So you just kind of latch on to folks and have somebody to chat with. And sure enough, we still talk to those folks to this day. So that worked out well.
Well, I can tell you there was quite a contingent of people back here in the States that were concerned for you and Shanice. A couple of us talking on social media, some people talking in person, at least back where I, back in Louisville. People that know you through me were like, "Hey, is Emil? Is he okay down there?" I was like, "Yeah, they haven't posted anything bad on social media. They've been evacuated and they've been moved." So, but there was concern for the new happy couple.
Yeah, it was. I was a little nervous, but you got to try to be strong. Because Shanice was like, we were trying to get out on Tuesday because the resort had alerted everyone, all of the patrons, that Wednesday essentially could be potential to be some trouble. And nice game, by the way, from Jazrael Tan, 221. O'Keefe can max out at 256. We woke up Wednesday, and I'm talking about you got to the lobby. It seemed like everyone in the hotel was in the lobby. They had started to board up various parts around the resort. Windows, of course. Anything, that had some glass to it. They were saying, hey, put your luggage in these red bags. Leave them in the room or don't leave. Then there was confusion about that. Should you leave your luggage in the room? Should you bring it out? Trying to figure that part out. Who's going where. And then certain companies that you may have booked your travel with, if it included, travel vouchers or transportation, some of those buses were there picking up their folks for those who were able to get out of town. So if you were able to book a flight basically on Tuesday or early Wednesday, then they were getting on out of there. Others were being bused already to various other resorts and locations. We hung around in the lobby, man. It seemed like it was 12 hours. It probably was closer to, 6 or 7, but it was
what it felt like.
A decently long wait, especially not knowing what's going to happen. You're in a different country. There's a hurricane coming, all kinds of stuff. But it was an eventful week, one that is very memorable because of that.
Have you looked over to the pair to our left yet?
A little bit.
Okay.
I have. It's been into my peripheral vision.
I just happened to glance.
And someone asked about Stephanie Johnson. I was seeing if I knew exactly where she was offhand.
She's on the low end.
So I will then take a look at my trusty sheet.
15 and 16.
There it is. Stephanie Johnson is on 15 and 16 there, Tom. Sherry Tan, by the way, folks, I told you she's leading the way if you don't know at plus 500. She shot 15:06 for 6 games in round 2 yesterday afternoon. She has a max score right now of 280 in game 1, and she's heading into the 10th frame. I'm not making that up. And you can confirm because you can even watch it yourself by clicking on Lane's 19 to 22 channel here on Bowl TV. Nice start on 23 and 24 though. Shannon O'Keefe 240, Tanya Raumemper 226, and Jazriel Tan 221. A couple things I noticed on this pair, at least from Tanya's perspective, and how she was elected to play the lane. Still right around that 9, 10, 11 range, but really slightly going right to left, and almost making sure that she was not leaking the ball right. So, her angle would not allow her to get the ball, right down lane. And we have seen that to prove to be trouble, certainly on this pattern. So Gigi, after a bit of a slow start, 3 in a row here, frames 7, 8, and 9. 4 out of her last 5. And it's gotten away from the multi-pin spare attempts and combinations. Gigi, Wakanda forever. Sporting the jersey this morning. And it just leaves a single pin. So, after a slow start, I think she puts herself in a position to at least get into 190s at this moment, and I think she'll take that if she can convert this spare here. And LJ perhaps a nasty 10-pin. Liz Johnson, we talked about Liz over the course of the season, and I think it's been a small adjustment just from the fans' perspective because of the standards that Liz Johnson set when this tour be relaunched in 2015. She was dominant and won Player of the Year 3 consecutive seasons prior to 2018. And what would be considered perhaps a good year for some could be considered a bit of a down year for someone obviously like a Liz Johnson in comparison to her other seasons. But she did make a show this year. In fact, a part of history. The irony of that show was, I'm speaking of the Louisville Open. Liz Johnson, of course, lost to Dasha Kovalova. Dasha shot 300 in the final. Sherry Tan up, by the way. And a 10-pin. First shot in the 10th frame. So best she can get to is 259, but I think she'll be pretty happy about that.
Yeah, I think so.
196 for Gigi. And after the slow start. But Liz Johnson, prior to Dasha, was the last woman to shoot a nationally televised 300 game. Happened in 2001 in, I believe, Davie, Florida, the Orlando area, right after 9/11, actually. 204 for the Hall of Famer. So Liz makes a show. She's had some really good weeks, but she hasn't missed cashing in an event. And so when you get down to it, you say, Liz is not maybe having the season that we expect of her in comparison to previous seasons. But if you're cashing every week,
you're doing something right.
And you're still making half of the, let's say round of 12s.
Yeah.
You're doing something right is correct. And she finds herself in great position here, as you always would expect. This is a major. That's the one thing you can never forget about Liz Johnson. What tournament is it, right? First of all, she's going to give herself a chance, but it's a major. The format's a little longer. You always got to pencil her in, no matter what you're doing.
Well, two other players in the house that are certainly doing something right this first game. Birgit Popler, first strike in the 10th. She can double the 10th for the 260 range, and Dasha has already punched out in the 10th for 268. Both of those players inside the cut, inside the top 10. Dasha in 7th, Popler in 6th. Putting up some big games here. And just looking up and down the house, we're seeing, especially here on our featured pair on 23 and 24, we're seeing quite a few big games out there.
I feel that the Fresh is presented for some good opportunities for players. They haven't really struggled in game one for the most part, I'd say.
Daria Pajok with an unfortunate 4-9 in the 10th. 3 straight opens for her in the 4th, 5th, and 6th. Two missed single pins and an 8-1, so she chopped the 2-pin conversion in the 5th. And then a split in the 7th. 4 straight opens. 3 of them missed makeable spares, and now a 4-9 in the 10th. She hit our pair yesterday, and she bowled a pretty well bowled 2-0 game over on 23 and 24. And when she moved to 25 and 26, that's when she kind of opened up the lane, shot 230. I think Daria's kind of waiting.
And that was game 2 on 23 and 24, and I believe game 3 on 25 and 26. Nice clean game for Rocio, 216. Nicole Trudell shoots 201. Talked to Ro a little bit yesterday, and she was just talking about some of the angles that she was attempting to play. Didn't want to get too far left, and almost couldn't really from a ball roll perspective and what the pattern was kind of presenting and really telling her to do. So she drilled up a different piece of equipment yesterday, and we'll see what type of results that might yield. And you see she was a little further right on 25 and 26 on that last shot on the fill. And that's where, again, round 1, we saw players still in that 9-10 area, but some were further right than that. Round 2, most of the players in the field were just right on 9, 10, and 11. Not really messing around with anything right of that. And so far that looks to be the case today as we head on to game number 2. Wanted to thank and say hello to Christopher, Ramon, Jennifer, Michelle, John, Bonnie, Don, Brandon, Mark, Zan Amanda? Amanda, it's early. Don't you have class this morning, Amanda Falk? Winning Teacher of the Year and stuff over in Tucson. That's pretty cool for one of our PWBA members. Jennifer, let's see, Yvonne, hello. Cedric, Alyssa, Tom, and Thomas, and Daniel. I'm just playing. Via. And Brent. What's up, Brent? Hope all is well. All right, game 2 is underway, or just about, I should say. Zoe will kick things off on 23 and 24. She is joined by Beauty Get Popular, Lindsay Boomershine, and Jennifer Hokersack. Giselle Poss, Missy Parkin, Kayla Bandy, and Christine Johnston on 25 and 26. That's dedication right there, man, to getting up early, getting the workout in prior to going to school to teach our wonderful next generation. Good morning, Brenda.
It's about 5:30 where she's at.
Might be pulling some two-a-days. That's like two-a-day time right there.
Man.
I tell myself I'm in a spot where, from a bowling perspective, I need to create and develop some kind of motivation. It's almost like I need some bulletin board material for me to get maybe the extra little zest I need to not only, you know, practice, but to keep at it. So if something does come up, which generally it does, where that will take my focus away, I won't linger. I'll just kind of go get right back to it as soon as I can.
Well, I mean, I remember when you were good enough to actually go out and practice.
I do too. I enjoyed it.
But at my older age, I'm starting to forget.
Me too.
Trying to give you that bulletin board material here.
Yeah.
Hey, you're terrible.
See, it's coming from you. So, like, I feel that that just won't be good enough. Although Aaron does remind me, he did it yesterday.
Oh, cross and carry.
About the 4 events that I said I was going to bowl in 2019. Those are my goals. It was not a resolution, which is when I said this.
Right.
I think it was at Team Trials when we talked about this. Either that or collegiate events in Vegas just prior to the new year. Goals, not resolutions.
Did you lay out what 4 they were going to be, or just 4 in general?
I did not. I said 4.
And you
Look,
bowled.
there's Aaron right there. Like
Yeah.
Johnny on the spot. Look at the guy.
And you bowled 1, the OC?
I did bowl 1. Actually, that in itself should make me practice, because that was just downright horrific. Downright egregious. Atrocious. Missy Parkin. Yikes. 4-6-10. I think she knew when she let it go. Nice shot there from Jennifer Hokersack. Early double for Jen. The 40, I believe. 41-year-old rookie.
You told me in Connecticut a little bit about her story. That's pretty neat. I've recounted it a few times here on Bowl TV over the last few weeks. But you know, when Jennifer, when she came out of college, she was looking to go out on tour, and that's right when the tour folded. So at that point, you kind of get into life, you know, jobs, everything just takes you elsewhere. And then it wasn't until she saw it on TV a couple years ago that she found out the tour was back. And I was like, hey, I'm going to go out and give this a shot. You know, try and live that dream that I wanted back when I was younger that was taken away from me.
It's really impressive. Just to even want to do it at this point, because she easily could have just said, you know, that was a dream that was, you know, 30 years or 20 years late. But she didn't do that. And that's what it's about. Chase the dream. Whatever it is. You want to be a baker? Well, you find out a way to be a baker. And some of you are bakers, if you get the hint. If you need samplers of those baked goods, we'll be happy to help. Someone asked about Stephanie Johnson. She is over on now 21 and 22. Boomershine, nicely done. 3, 4, 6, 7. Yes, indeed, John. As Aaron alluded to, same pattern every day. Does it play differently every day? Well, if you talk to the players, ball reps, they will tell you yes, it does. We'll say each application of the lane pattern intends to play truer. "49 feet with a low volume, 21.145 milliliters of oil." You can check out the oil pattern, the lane graph, of course, on PWBA.com/live. You can also get there quickly via the tournament information tab right next to the chat on your side panel. First look at round 3 scores. We mentioned Sherry Tan's 259. That moves her to plus 559. Just still looking at that number right now. And just saying, wow. Meanwhile, Shannon Pluhowski out the gate strong with 247. And she is at now plus 410. Liz Johnson third at plus 338. Dasha Kovalova fourth at plus 322. Beautiget Popular plus 302. Beautiget has had a very nice, I feel, second half of this season. Essentially went from PTQs and whatnot to a couple of shows, and now top 5 right now here at the Players. Making a run at the Tour Championship. Liz Colkin is 6th at plus 284. Clara Guerrero, 7th at plus 273. Danielle McEwen, 8th at plus 262. Missy Parkin is 9th at plus 226. Elise Bolton, 10th at plus 224. 11 through 18. Brianna Cote is 11th at plus 211. Sydney Brummett is 12th at plus 207. Shannon O'Keefe, the nice 240 game early on here. That goes or moves her from 17th to 13th. Now at plus 202. Daria Payo loses some pins, obviously, after shooting 150. Plus 192, she drops to Garcia Restrepo, slowly climbing, 15th at plus 182. Stephanie Johnson, 16th at plus 172. Valerie Bercier, 17th at plus 166. And 18th, Diana Zavjalova, back in the number right now. She came into this tournament as the would be the final participant in the Tour Championship if things had ended prior to the Players. She is in 18th at plus 150. Ashley Galante now 1 pin back of 18th at plus 149. Lindsay Boomershine 20th at plus 135, 15 pins back. Nicole Trudell is 21st at plus 127. Tanya Raumemper is 22nd at plus 122.
After game 1 this morning, the points as far as who's in and who's out for Richmond have not changed. Tanya is still the 16th and final player in. Birgit Popler, the first player out.
So that's the story. Who's going to advance to the Tour Championship? We've got, so far, 7 champions. And in order, Josie Barnes won the first title of the season back in Cleveland. That was followed by the Twin Cities champion, which was Shannon O'Keefe. And of course, that would begin a nice run for Mrs. O'Keefe. Then Jordan Richard followed things up in Lincoln. She defeated Sandra Gongora in the finals. Then Dasha Kovalova won her first title, and it happened to be a major at the USBC Queens. At that moment, you said, well, we've got 4 different champions, and we really hadn't had that early on in a couple of seasons, as in 2018, Shannon O'Keefe had won 2 of the first 4. So we made it to 4 events. Then we made it to 5 events with 5 different champions. Sonoma County Open. We said, well, this might be a really different year. We could have, you know, maybe 8 to 9 different champions. Well, then Shannon got back on it and said, well, nah, I'm going to go ahead and win the Tucson Open. Sandra Anderson followed in Fountain Valley. Danielle McCune won the U.S. Women's Open. Of course, Amanda Green and partner Kyle Sherman won the PBA PWBA striking against breast cancer mixed doubles. However, Amanda is not a member at the moment, so she did not. That title did not get her a spot in the Tour Championship. And then, of course, Shannon has won the 2 of the last 3 events, beginning in East Hartford with our elite events. Dasha Kovalova won in Louisville, and Shannon won again in Orlando. The way it's looking right now, if we just look ahead to potential scenarios, but I'm not including the players right now, but I am including the Tour Championship because O'Keefe will be seated onto the show directly, as she has been for the last couple of years. She could win a minimum of 5 titles when it's all said and done in 2019. That is not including what obviously could happen here this week. 5 in 14 events. It's pretty impressive what could be had. It's impressive already, obviously. But she could win 5. Of course, no #1 seed has ever won the Tour Championship in its present state since it began in 2015.
Well, that's one of those things where that is a historical fact that has no bearing on the present or the future.
Sure.
But it's still there. And I guarantee you, a player like Shannon would not let it affect her, assuming she does get the overall #1 seed. But it's still there. It's still something to think about.
That's a good question, John Goodman. I missed that earlier. I feel like that's a good. Daniel has talked about that a little bit this week. So, Daniel, you care to chat about that? What you've seen in that regard, in regards to what's the transition been like in from what you've seen astutely here with your astute bowling eye?
Well, early yesterday morning, a lot of the players started further right on top of or right of first arrow. And I mentioned that I thought it was fool's gold. And I thought it would be a look that would look okay on the fresh, but the minute the back ends tightened up on this 49-foot pattern, no matter the volume, once the back ends tightened up and the pattern itself tightened up, that would go away, and it did. And the players that scored poorly on Wednesday morning were the ones who stayed too far right for too long. Yesterday afternoon, more of the field started around the track area, which is kind of right on top of that your break point between 8 and 11, that kind of zone right there. And that's why that area of the lane burned up a lot quicker. And it kind of forced the players in a little bit. Forced them further in quicker. You know, the players that are a little heavier handed that wants to play that kind of angle. But then I spoke with a couple of our bowlers this morning, and they said that they thought that yesterday afternoon the pattern played as a whole, it played a little tighter than it did in the morning, which is, they said, was odd to see that. So I don't know if they meant the middle part of the lane for them played tighter or the back ends played tighter. But we've seen this pattern hold up pretty well for only having 21 units of oil out there. I'm very impressed with that. It's kind of allowed the people that want to get in and swing it, they can get in and swing it. And then the players, a shot like that from Lindsay Boomershine are watching Liz Johnson. The players that want to play straighter can play straighter. So it's allowed each bowler to execute their A game and pretty much give everyone a chance.
This is game 2 of 6. If you are just joining us, welcome to bowltv.com. Be sure to not only visit of course, our live events. That's what you're here to do, but if you get some time today or tomorrow or whenever, be sure to check out other items, other content on Bowl TV. The vault, the lab, backstage.
A couple notes from Aaron Smith. Shannon Pluhowski down on, I believe, 37 and 38 is on the front 8. Shannon O'Keefe, a couple lanes down on 29 and 30, has been spare 6-bagger. Circle back to Lindsay Boomershine right here on 23 and 24. Standing in front of us, she'll be following Jennifer on 23. When we saw Lindsay yesterday on 25 and 26, she split 6 of the first 7 frames in that game. Found a way to strike a little bit later and shot 152. And I had a chance to catch up with her about that this morning. Not only that, but how she bounced back from that following the 152. But here's Lindsay's thoughts on that 152 game she bowled here on Bowl TV Game 4 yesterday afternoon.
You know, I got to that pair, and I just thought that maybe they were just hooking up a little bit more in the fronts, and that's what happened in the afternoon block. They were definitely different than the morning, and I was playing the lane similar to what I did the first block for the first 3, and then when I got to that pair, I had to give the pocket away, which you couldn't do the first block. And so I went through a few different balls, and splits is okay, but usually in games like that, you're like, I just want to leave something makeable, and I 7-10 3 times. And, instead of getting mad, I just, honestly, at the third one, I just started laughing about it, because I'm like, this is pure entertainment for everyone back at home. But, that's just stuff that we as bowlers, professional bowlers, athletes, when we're here, that's, some of the trials and tribulations basically that we go through that, most people don't see.
After that, I talked to her. I said, okay, so you shot 152. How were you able to bounce back from that? Because when she bounced back, she shoots 238 and 250.
I got to that pair, and I just thought that maybe they were just hooking up a little bit more in the fronts, and that's what happened in the afternoon block. They were definitely different.
Radio guy played the wrong clip. Sorry, y'all. Here's Lindsay talking about that bounce back.
Well, so when, the first 3 balls that I tried, which is kind of in the range of what I was using before, I went the opposite way. And I was like, so I'm going to try something completely different, move in a little bit, soften up my speed, give the pocket away. And, I was lucky to get a 3-bagger and get out of there with at least a 150 because I thought it was going to be like 112. Right. And then, the next game I just tried to make really good shots, and I shot 238 clean. And then I started with the front 7. Got a couple good, light hits to do that, and made my spares because they were starting to change again with 4 frames to go of the last game, and just, ended up with 255.
Nice job.
Shannon's still stringing him.
Even better job.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is, I mentioned it a little bit yesterday, just talking about the last few events for Shannon. And I think this is a much needed, helps the confidence, obviously. But, we said it yesterday. You give her that look, and it could be curtains. Some of my favorite kisses, curtains for you, Johnny. What cartoon was that? You mentioned somebody else had a nice string. Was that Shannon O'Keefe? We got both Shannons on.
Yes.
Making serious moves right now.
O'Keefe is 290 max through 9.
Just like that. Lindsay gets 1 right as it's heading down lane. 248.10.
High flush 6-pin for Shannon Blahowski. Front 10 to 89, assuming the single pin spare conversion.
Aaron Smith, by the way, went live over on the PWBA Instagram account. So, of course, we've been working to do that. Oh, any 300 game attempts throughout. So if you get any notifications on your mobile device throughout the week, you can see a little different view sometimes of what's at stake and what IG is presenting. 289 there for SP, and then well, O'Keefe is up.
Shannon O'Keefe stuffs that one in the 10th. Wow.
That was like
yeah.
You gave that one the mean face. Like, ooh, ooh. Oh boy. Okay.
Get the 2 out.
Was this the same pair?
No. No, 25 and 26.
Okay. Daria with spare 6-bagger. Birgit recently engaged.
Did not know that. Congratulations,
Yeah.
Daria.
Not Daria, Birgit. Talking about Papa.
Oh, you just said Daria was
Yes.
stringing. I didn't realize you
That's
switched over to Birgit.
keep up, Rook. Yeah, let's make sure we clarify that. All by Daria's significant others in the building.
Yes.
I'm speaking of as I was watching Birgit get the 10 outs. And I said Birgit recently
I missed the Birgit.
engaged. Okay, I think a couple months at this point, if I'm not mistaken. Birgit's a fun person to chat with too. She's the only person that I allow to use any of our available outlets.
Oh, for charging purposes?
Yes, because she has a hand warmer that she uses. And the first time we were privy to it, I think was she made the show at the Queens in 2016. And I can't remember if she asked TV. I don't remember, but I feel like she may have said something about hand warming. Can I use one on TV, etc. But she keeps them with her, and they're battery charged, so she charges them up after a block. Generally, she'll come down. Hey, can I borrow a spot? And so it became a thing. It was like Michael Jordan put the rosin on his hand, and he'd go to the scores table, and he rub his hands together, clap, clap.
LeBron does that.
If you notice, folks, notice what Daniel likes to do. But yes, he does. But that is a good example. I knew you would say that. So it became this thing. I just like, oh yeah, this is, so we'll just set Birgit. She's the only one though. She'll come by, charger in hand, no problem. Gotcha. She also told me once they went on vacation, I think, to Chicago. And we were talking about the Sears Tower, which is now the Willis Tower. And so on the sky deck, there's the ledge. Not sure if you may be familiar with it.
I am.
So you step out, on the hard plexiglass, fiber, whatever it is out there that I've heard crack from time to time. This right lane, all of a sudden not being friendly to Boomershine, by the way, on 24. And at the time, I hadn't been out on the ledge. I hadn't done it. And I said, so did you check it out? What was it like? And she was like, oh, it was nothing. It was fine. It was nothing wrong. It wasn't scary. None of the above. Gets the 10 out again. Does Poplar. And I said, well, I got to check it out. And so I finally went early this year, I think.
You did a tourist thing in your own city?
Yes.
Okay.
We try to do that a lot, actually. We just did it for our anniversary before I flew out here. Try to visit a spot that we haven't been to dinner-wise, etc. I'm trying to remember if it was last year, anniversary. I think it was. Yeah, we went to, Shanice had never been up to the Willis Tower, so we did that. And it was pretty cool. The ledge is, I would recommend it if you're, also would say, disclaimer, if heights are not your thing,
don't do it.
Then don't do it. Because you do step out of the building. There is glass and whatever else underneath you, something to hold you, but you can see directly down to the street from 115, 20, whatever it is, stories up. So I don't want you calling me, calling Bowl TV, saying Emil told you I should go out to the ledge and, not regurgitate it. Don't call me with that. $290 for O'Keefe. Wow. So a $289 and a $290 from the Shannons here in Game 2. It's just Game 2. Well, can you tell that maybe Shannon likes her look? Perhaps, you know, we'll have to ask her about it.
It is by far the best look we've seen her have
If she
in the tournament.
made a change, you know, I'm assuming something may have changed. It just could be as simple as throwing a different ball. You know, we make it sound simple when you say that sometimes, but
It's not that simple.
it is not. Figuring out the right ball to get the correct motion. But right now, she's got it down. Hi, Brandy. I miss Brandy. Brandy Silver.
Yeah, I'm a little jealous of her right now.
She went to
I know that's why.
Backstreet Boys.
And I had tickets to the Backstreet Boys DNA tour in Louisville next Friday. But I'm going to be on my way to Richmond. So I could not turn down the invite for the tour championships. But it hurt to give up that ticket, I'll tell you that.
Shot there from Bandy. Kayla struggled a little bit in round one. And she, like others, has, I think, thrown it pretty well. Trying to find the right way to match up. And I agree there on that, what Paul just mentioned.
I talked to Kayla before Orlando, and she told me that she was fighting her equipment. She said, I feel like I'm throwing it the best I've ever thrown it at this point. But she said, I'm having trouble with my equipment. I don't understand, you know, what I've got in my hands. You know, I've got too many bowling balls. So going into Orlando, she cut down her arsenal. She said, I've been traveling with, I think the number she told me was 18 to 20 balls. And going into Orlando, she whittled that down to like 12 to really make it simple for herself. And she didn't bowl great in Orlando, bowled better. And then she led the regional in Orlando and ended up ultimately falling in the championship match to fellow Pikeville alumni, Katie Simpson. But she looked more confident in her moves in Orlando.
Wow, Hopler got one right, and I thought that was going to be a 2-8-10 based on what we've seen from other players. The ball gets right kind of quick, but whew, that ball destroyed the rack. 1-3, all 10 down. Sometimes it does take some simplifying. Bowling can get a little weird. It can get complicated in a sense. I think we've all been there in that regard as well. Hello, Brian. Hello, Matt, if we missed you. I saw someone else got a Bowl TV shirt, so I'm glad our viewers are receiving their giveaway prizes. Missy Parkin, first one in the 10th, she's on a double. Been some good 10th frames here on 25 and 26. Daria Pio can get to 268. She's about to step up in the 10th frame, lane 27. For those scoring at home, gets the first one to go. Elise Bolton can get to 205. She too is on that pair. Johnston with an open in the 10th frame, 172.
Just like that, I don't know if you're a fractions guy, but we are a third of the way through this qualifying block. Here on our featured pairs, one more shot waiting for Missy Parkin. Daria Pioke following her 170 the first game. Was going to be had a chance for the 260s, but a 4-count split here in the 11th on a double will drop her into the max score of 252 if she can pick it up. I'm going to guess 251. I'm going to say she's going to get 5 pins out of this 3, 4, 6, 7, 9, 10 combination. But regardless of the count she gets, good bounce back from the 170 game. Or it was worse than that, it was a 150 game. So 250 there for Daria Payok. Trying to keep herself inside the top 18. Missy Parkin ball change here in the spill ball. Solid shot. 220 with 2 splits. A couple 4-baggers mixed in. Up next on our feature pairs, we will see Sandra Gongora, Diana Zavyalova, Haley Richard, and Daphne Tan on 23 and 24. Over on 25 and 26, we will see Tiffany Taylor, Raleigh, North Carolina's own Tiffany Taylor, Summer Jasmine, Stephanie Martins, and Stephanie Johnson.
Hello, Michael Stan. Appreciate you tuning in. Sandra Gongora. Nice start. Nice shot. And she officially makes it game 3. Jeffrey Armstead. Want to watch Bowl TV while he gets his morning cardio in. 4 miles on the treadmill. Okay. I'm trying to think what would happen to me right now if I did 4 miles.
You wouldn't make it to 4 miles. Well, it depends. Are we talking like a walk? I mean, a jog?
I don't know. We got to ask Jeffrey.
Just a full out. I'm talking more for you. I mean, I think you could walk 4 miles.
I could walk 4 miles.
Yeah.
On the treadmill.
But I would want to challenge you more than that.
Could walk. Sometimes you got to start slow, man.
No, you have to start slow.
Yeah.
But you got to work your way up to just that full out Usain Bolt. Boom, 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 sprint.
4 miles. You know, I did have this has actually nothing to do with bowling. But at some point, I would like to get into the old 5K, 10K. Do they have those?
They
right?
do.
The run, walk kind of situations. Like, work on like building up the endurance training for that kind of thing. That's something different. Something I would say normally, like, no, that's not for me. No, I'm
Maybe
not.
like a mini marathon type deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to say. To finish something. That one's got like a finish line, right? It's like, okay, no matter what happens, I want to finish this race. Maybe we get a crew together. We look like the Bowl TV, team, right? And we all go out and run a 10K or something.
I'm in. I think we can get Aaron in. Aaron's probably.
I don't know.
We can get Matt to.
I can tell you right now.
Hang on.
Aaron Smith.
This idea is.
Listen.
Quickly.
If Aaron Smith said yes to running anything, even if he was running his mouth, I will give someone in here $20.
Here you go. It's back in March. In Charlotte was the craft beer half marathon and 5 mile.
That might be.
Where like every mile or something you chug a beer.
This is a family show, but if you are legally able to incorporate adult beverages into your life, that sounds like a good idea. I think we may be able to convince Aaron Smith of that. And how does that 8-pin stand for the local player, Tiffany Taylor? Who do we have to talk to make sure that doesn't happen again?
I didn't realize that we shipped the pins from Connecticut to North Carolina.
This is game 3. Hashtag team no 8-pin. Stephanie Martins. How about that, Jeffrey? Oh, we've got to meet, my man. Jeffrey says he's 70 years old, Dan. Run about 8:24 pace. He's done 26 full marathons in his life, including 2 Boston marathons. How about that?
Holy moly, that's awesome.
Well, there it is.
Wow.
10K me up. That's like an excellent icebreaker. Maybe we should just go around the Bowl TV room. Right? Just imagine we were in the Bowl TV room. All of our viewers are in the room. And we each say, everyone says one cool note about themselves. How do you guys feel about that today? Could be anything.
Well, I think it was Orlando. I asked everybody, you know, hey, just tell us where you're watching from.
Sure.
Well, we got like 60 people.
That's good.
So I like this.
They do. The viewers do respond, and they like to let us know where they're watching from. I really like to know where people are watching. Like, we honestly like to know where our viewers are currently watching from. You know, Jeffrey's in Meridianville, Alabama. Aaron Smith's to my left, so I'm going to check in just make sure all is well. Mark watching from Terre Haute. I've heard that just called the Haute as a nickname. I don't know if that's true.
I think your boy Aaron could speak to that.
Well, Mark's there, so he'll be able to tell me. I had a roommate once in college. I think you were there at this point, Daniel. His name was Luke Blank.
I remember the name, but I don't know if that.
He was on the Lindenwood men's basketball team.
Okay.
He was from Terre Haute, Indiana. And I feel that the team, as a nickname, used to just say the Haute when he was in the game. This is where I was traveling with the basketball team. Mark said very true. Well, there it is. Jen from Castleberry, Florida. I missed Jennifer there. Armando is watching from Pensacola. I hope, by the way, all of you who are in Florida, and I'm not sure what, I haven't checked the weather recently, but I do hope all is well. You weren't affected. If you were, hope it was minimal at best.
We do have some Game 2 scores available. PWBA.com/live for all of your tournament information. Sherry Tan still your leader, but Shannon Pluhowski has closed the gap within 100 pins, shooting 289. Sherry's at 596 over. Shannon now at 499. Liz Johnson third at 385. Dasha 355. Birgit 318. Shannon O'Keefe 292. Clara 289. Liz Culkin, 264. Rocio, 261. Missy Parkin, 251. That's your top 10. Daria Payok literally goes 150, 250. So she's even on the day at 242 in 11th. Danielle McEwen, 239. Elise Bolton, 229. Brianna Cote, 226. And in 15th, Sydney Brummett at 196. Outside the top 15, inside the top 18 with 4 games to go. 16th, Diana Zavyalova right in front of us, throwing a shot on 24. Can't get the 10 to go. She's plus 172. Ashley Galante, plus 158 in 17th. And in 18th, Valerie Bercier at 156. Just outside the cut, Stephanie Johnson at 145. Lindsay Boomershine, 134. Nicole Trudell, 129. And Tanya Ramaper at 123. She is in 22nd.
Did you say Sherry Tan was at plus 499?
That is Shannon. Sherry is at 596.
Okay. Well, the gap's closing. Wachowski might get this thing down to single digits, if you will. High flush for Gongora.
Great shot there in the fourth after 2 splits, and I overheard Sandra talking to you before bowling about Team Mexico's trip to the Women's World Championships last week in Las Vegas, and I actually sat down with her and we spoke for a little bit. And it's about a minute long, but it's a really good story about how Team Mexico came together, not just with the team themselves, but the entire community around Sandra's home city and the entire country of Mexico rallied around this team to get them to the Women's World Championships.
We didn't have the support to go, federation and committee, they didn't have the budget to bring us to the World Championship. So I kind of started to motivate my teammates to do raffles, to ask for help. A lot of Mexicans were actually making deposits to our accounts. Evo and I donated 4 bowling balls. Cubica donated 4 bowling balls to do the raffles. So we participate, finally raised the whole thing and went and pay. Literally, we paid when we arrived, and we had support from World Bowling to allow us to actually collect the money and then go pay right away when we arrived. So the medals mean so much, obviously, for us and for, I guess, for the people that were involved, right? People are part of these medals. Mexicans, I think, as a whole team, we did this together. So yeah, so happy that we were able to be in the podium with the best bowlers in the world.
That is excellent stuff right there. I teased it a little bit yesterday, just talking about what they had done. Talking about what they had done. Excellent stuff. The sponsorship, the fundraising. I think Don mentioned in the chat, if you caught a little bit of the World Championships last week, you saw Team Mexico's jerseys had several sponsor logos on it. And I'm imagining all of those businesses helped contribute, certainly, to the cause. And, mentioned yesterday, sometimes we were talking about Verity and her parents, and sometimes you just eliminate the bowling part of it for a while and just think about what that means, and then you eliminate the bowling and think about what it would have meant, almost twofold. What it meant to have Team Mexico not compete at the World Bowling Women's Championships with the exceptional amount of talent that they have. And then think about, obviously, what they went through, and then to go ahead and compete and then win a few medals, including a team bronze, where obviously they had a chance to win a team gold medal. And Sandra concluded that with our conversation, that was the first time they had won any medal at the Women's World Championships since 1967.
I heard her say that year. I didn't know what stat was attached to it. I was going to ask you about that. That's phenomenal.
So, again, they all the hard work, and congratulations, again, to Team Mexico, but everyone else who helped them get there. I agree, and obviously I don't live there, but you can feel it, and you can feel when you talk to Sandra, and I'm sure you did too, how much it meant to have that support. We talked about what it's like to represent your country. I asked you that yesterday, and it's evident what it means to Sandra.
Well, and one thing I've learned, and people that aren't around sports that compete for Olympic and international medals like that, they see it every 4 or every 2 years, I guess, with the Summer and Winter Olympics. But from talking to these players, these international players, I know that Team USA puts importance on medals. And maybe this is a can't see the forest for the trees type thing, but it seems like you talking to Sandra from Team Mexico, talking to some of the ladies from Team Singapore, these international teams put so much importance, and it's such a big deal to earn these medals that when they, like she said, the first one since 1967, that is a huge deal for their Olympic committee, for their country, for their team. So when you hear, Team Mexico, won a medal, it might not sound like a big deal, but it is huge for those bowlers, their country, and everyone that supports and represents them.
First of all, 1-2-10 converted by Jennifer Hopersack. just on over on 27 and 28. And what I have learned on my time on tour and talking to various players who represent different countries, sometimes, you know, medals, winning a medal, you know, has direct impact on funding for the program itself,
Yes.
etc., individuals, all of the above. So, you know, it is a huge deal. And it's same thing. The same thing is true with Team USA, right? But I think you kind of said it right. Sometimes people may just assume that, hey, you know, Team USA, they're expected to win medals, and you know, maybe it doesn't mean as much to them, you know, that kind of thing. That's
Right.
not true.
No, it's not.
You know, and but also other countries, it may mean just that much more because there may be a ton of other things tied to just one medal, let alone, you know, 5.
Well, I know that it's also for different international teams. I can't speak individually to each one, but I know that some of them, to make team, it's not as much of a qualification process as it is here in the States, as it is a selection process by a committee. So if you as a player do not go and hold up your end of the bargain, you might not get selected the next year. So you want to go and do your best, not only because you have your country on your back, but because you want to continue representing your country.
Yep. Sometimes there's pressures that we know nothing about.
Yes.
And again, shout out to World Bowling, you know, because I'm sure they easily could have said, well, you know, here's the deadline and all that kind of stuff, but they worked with them, it sounds like. And it's good stuff.
That's the one thing that stuck out to what she said. She said, we paid when we got there. I mean, my local association just eliminated walk-ins at city tournament.
No
and
CODs.
Basically, that's what Team Mexico had to do. So, like you said, you know, big shout out to the world, to them for allowing them to walk in.
While we were discussing Sandra Gongora and Team Mexico, we did have a few folks drop in and let us know where they're watching from. Some people went in even and added a couple of fun facts. So we stopped at Armando, and my man Tom is from Lake Placid. Brenda is from Dalton, Massachusetts. Of course, we met Brenda in East Hartford. Yeah, I'll take any fun facts. I'm all about it. Melissa, watching from Deltona, Florida. Okay, Michael is right here in the triangle. And I from what I've read so far and just, you know, places to go in Raleigh, there is a triangle. I don't know what cities incorporate in this triangle. I'm guessing it's like Raleigh, Durham, and I don't know if it's like Cary or Wake Forest. I'm not quite sure. But I know I've heard the triangle on the radio. I've seen it on various publications. David Longstreet watching from Geneva, Florida. Mike's going to be here at the Pro-Am. Mike, I'm going to miss you. I hope you come back for the TV show, though. Amanda Fall gave us a nice, interesting fact. One I did know, or two of them I knew. But I did not know that she went to high school with Randy Cote, who was Brianna Cote's husband. And, of course, she went to Central Missouri with Brianna.
Interrupt real quick, take a look at the points. The top 16, the players in to Richmond based on points. That list of players has not changed. There has been some shuffling. Stephanie Johnson is now 16th and the final player looking to get in. And she's also, her and Tanya are two of those players that are inside the top 16 right now, but they're outside of the match play cut for this tournament. So they could finish up qualifying today outside the top 18 in the tournament, but inside the Richmond cut. The problem is there are 3 players behind them in 17th, 18th, and 19th in the points that are currently in the cut for the tournament, so they would have 18 more games to improve their position. So double the pressure on Tanya and Stephanie, not just to stay inside the top 16 in points for the run to Richmond, but to get into the top 18 today in the tournament so they can have a chance to improve that position as Stephanie trips a nice 4-pin straight forward.
All right, continuing on, Bonnie Smith from Wilmington, Delaware. Shonda Stevens watching from Houston. Brandy is watching from Arlington. Brandy, don't be messing up at work. Good folks at the Open and Women's Championships need you. Roger is watching from Atlantic, Iowa. Not gonna lie, Roger, that sounds very majestic and magical. I want to know where that is. I'm gonna have to look that up. I'm hoping it's close to some places in Iowa that I've heard of or been to, like Des Moines or Cedar Rapids or the Quad Cities or Davenport. Nice shot there from Gongora. Pamela Johnson is watching from Beaumont, Texas. Now this is an assumption here, saying Pamela will certainly let me know, but Caitlin Johnson just happens to be from Beaumont, Texas, Team USA member, Weber International star. Just wondering, maybe there's some relation. Via, is it Via, by the way? Via, is it? No, I'm hoping it's Via.
It's Via.
Okay, you went through this already?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. You know this person?
I do.
Okay.
Shot has a interesting fact about Via. Has a 279 triplicate.
How about that?
From 7 or 8 years ago.
Nicely done. I kind of thought maybe because of what he put in parentheses, the Louisville North. From Jeffersonville, Indiana. Nicholas Connell from Peoria, Illinois. Go Chiefs in Peoria. Also home of the Illinois State High School boys basketball tournament. Girls are still there too. I've heard some talks that that event could be moved from Peoria to Chicago. Rebecca Colby. Hey, Rebecca. I know she had a great time in Louisville. Kids are dropped off at school, and I'm ready to watch some PWBA.
Beautiful.
More futuristic things for me. Jennifer is, she was letting me know. Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill. Okay, because I was thinking it had something to do with the universities.
Yeah, that would be the 3 universities, wouldn't
it? Duke, North Carolina, and NC State. Ooh, Brenda's throwing out more information with her fun fact. She's throwing out trivia of her own. Meanwhile, Ashley Galante.
I was just looking that up.
Is
Ah, boy.
Oh, look out! Look out! Had a stool malfunction almost. I almost went down with the ship. All right, Ashley with 7 in a row after a split in the first frame. We've seen more strings here, I feel, this block than any other block so far of qualifying. We'll get back to that Brenda topic in 1 second.
Well, all these great players, a lot of them, whether they're looking at tour finals or simply looking at the top 18 cut for the tournament, their back is against the wall. And, you put players as talented as these are, and you put them in a position where they've got to fight to get their way out, and they've got to string strikes and to climb up the ladder. More often than not, that's what you're going to see.
Oh my goodness. Good Lord. You know what the worst part about that? I mean, wow. It was as if the knife was just being driven through as you watch the ball go through the 1-3 and the 7-9 just... Wow. And that wasn't even an 8-pin. That was just that felt like an 8-pin for me right there.
That wasn't even necessary is what that was.
Unbelievable. I tell you, Bolin, you are something else. Haley Richard can get to 200, nearly made by Martins. Again, hang tight, Brenda. Gongora stepping up 9th frame.
Haley, one of the players that gave us quite a bit of excitement yesterday, as she had the front nine and was making a run towards a possible 300. I spoke with her this morning about what she was going through and what she was thinking leading into that 10th frame.
Nothing really, just the same as the rest of the 9 strikes. Thanks, Brian. Honestly, nothing. I wasn't really thinking of anything. I was really just kind of having fun with Daphne, and that was kind of contributed to that. And the pair was actually pretty good, so my missed shots were struck, so that helped.
And then one other thing I asked about was she started off a little weak in the day on the fresh, but as the shot broke down, her look got better. And I asked her, what do you need to do to try and create that ball motion that you had earlier in the block, or later in the block, sooner in the block today?
Hopefully figure out game 1.
It's been a struggle?
Yeah. Well, actually, game 1, the first block was fine. Game 1 down here at the high end was not. They don't play similar at all, so I'm hoping to figure out game 1, and then I think from there on out, I'm okay. It's just really game 1 that's my struggle.
Talked to Haley again a little bit yesterday too, and she mentioned she was a practice player, and I felt every word of that phrase. I'm the definition of a practice player. I got to be in the center, got to get the reps, or I won't have any feel if I don't practice. I also won't make any spares if I don't practice. So here is Haley. Can get to even this game. 200 even. Gongora, by the way, as you can see, on 4 in a row. Oh, and then the so the 7-9 by Stephanie Martins on 25 and 26. Then you see Gongora leaving 8-10 on 23. Good one. Galante with 8 spare in the 9th, 8 spare first shot in the 10th. So best she can do is get to 245. For other strings, and AA Ron has not alerted us to any additional. And Richard will take care of business on the spare. 189 potentially on the way for Haley Richard. Former Arkansas State standout, All-American. Oh, give it a run. I feel some breaks like that. It's kind of been a part of Sandra's season here in 2019. We did see her perform admirably, certainly throughout the season. Certain points, she has some rough points as well. The Lincoln Open, she was very, very good, excellent downright too, and fell just a few frames short of her first title, losing to Jordan Richard. Stephanie Johnson is around the cut for this one, and around the number for the Tour Championship as well. Great shot there. Trying to figure out what Steph's got going on the jersey. She's been bringing the game shows out, so I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing a game show reference on her jersey, or if it's just a really dope design, or if it's like some other game. I have to ask her about
Maybe
it.
like a Connect 4 type thing?
It kind of looks like that, right? But just not in this traditional color scheme.
Right. Oh, gets the 4-6 out.
Well,
Shot
Summer
by
Jasmine.
Summer Jasmine.
What's Summer at the moment, score-wise?
She was 26th coming in. She is currently 23rd.
Okay.
Plus 111, 42 out of the cut. Or
right.
45, excuse me, 45 out of the cut.
So, big. Would like a double in the 10th frame, certainly. To get into the 190s and keep certainly the hopes alive a little bit. Diana Zavyalova. Strike here will get her in the 230s, and she can continue to push forward. Push ball, bang. Plus 172 for Diana in 16th after 2 this morning.
Unofficially, based on my numbers, DZ currently 2 spots out of the Richmond race, but as we've said, if she keeps it up, she would have a chance in the next 18 games to improve that position.
Yeah, it's important right now, and again, all numbers unofficial, but Daniel and Aaron have done a great job at kind of continuing to update on their own. And, right now, Steph would be, again, I'm just talking about this game. Right now, Steph would be, would have the last spot. And underneath that is Birgit, Diana, Valerie. And ironically enough, the leader, Sherry Tan, is at this moment, 4 spots back and approximately 7,000 to 8,000 points. Now, the way Sherry Tan is bowling, she certainly could be on the TV show and could be vying for a title, which obviously a win gets you in.
Yeah, Sherry would have to win to get in.
Yeah. But it's just interesting enough to, the points are really, when you get down to it and you start thinking about all these scenarios, like we do this every year,
yeah.
Of course. You say, oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait. Oh, wow, I didn't think that could be possible, that kind of thing. So, always interesting. Always interesting. Fast 8 on the field for Diana. 235 for DZ, and that'll do it on 23 and 24. Okay. By the way, Rebecca Colby watching from Oxford, Mississippi. That's where Ole Miss is, right?
Yes.
Barry Schelt watching from, watching from Weeki-Wachee, Florida. I know that city in Florida because my former job of mine used to help high schools stream events, and Weeki-Wachee High School was one of the schools in my territory. I actually helped the Southeast territory often. Brian McLean, my man, watching always from Thunder Bay, Ontario in Canada. Okay, so Brenda, by the way, Daniel, said as of 2017, the population of Dalton, Massachusetts was 6,581 people.
Okay.
The trivia question. Dalton, Massachusetts' claim to fame is they make something most people carry in their wallet. Any guesses on what that might be? And I'm late on the chat on scrolling down, so I'm wondering if anyone else has given an answer on that. Everyone, let's revisit it. Watch it down there to keep it.
Everyone carries this in their wallet.
Most people, they make something that most people carry in their wallet. Well, I'm going to say they make the plastic that identification is made of.
Okay. I'm going to piggyback off that. I'm going to go, they make some cash money. Or the paper that money is printed on. I have no idea. No clue. No clue.
This is fun. All right, those are our guesses, Brenda. I'm in with your identification, your driver's license, if you have a state ID, that material that those IDs are printed on. I'm saying that Dalton makes that. Daniel is saying he's going full boat. He's going with cash rules everything around me. Cream get the money. Dollar bill, y'all. He's saying that the paper, the currency that we use in the United States, that's the paper you create. The Dalton Mill Paper Company, perhaps. The Dunder
Dalton
Mill.
Nah, Dunder Mifflin's Scranton, PA, bro.
I know.
Come on.
Thanks to Aaron Smith, he told me. Roderick, my man, watching from Clarksville, Tennessee, will be there, as you know, Roderick, next year. Thanks for the kind words, Brian. I appreciate Brian a lot, and because he always says kind words, and we appreciate his viewership, and always also rooting for certainly his Team Canada members as well. Jessica is watching from Fort Bragg, North Carolina. I've heard of Fort Bragg, probably because Jessica's maybe told me this before. But now I got to know in relation to where we are, where Fort Bragg is.
How about that?
Did I win?
I won.
How about that?
Crane & Company makes the paper that the U.S. currency is printed on along with all the security in the bills. Crane & Company has been making it solely since 1964.
So, you knew that, right?
How about that?
You knew that before you said it.
I was piggybacking off what you said,
did,
man.
I don't believe you.
Well,
all right, C. Nelson watching from Springfield, Oregon. He too up early, or she too, excuse me. Up early to watch some outstanding bowling. Go Ducks. Oregon took a tough loss, man. And
yeah,
against
they did.
Auburn. But they look good, though. So there is certainly hope. Yeah, obviously we all know if you watch college football, if you're going to lose in week 1.
so you'd be okay if the Bears lost tonight?
No, I said college football. College football. Oh, good Lord.
Stone 8-pin?
You know about my issues with 8-pins, right?
You don't like the word hate, but you hate.
Because technically we've only been together for one event.
Yeah, Connecticut.
So.
And that just happened to be the house that there were a
Correct.
lot of 8-pins.
Judith, how about that? Judith wishes she was visiting her kids in Wake Forest, so she would certainly be here to watch. Thank you very much again, Brenda. I think we said that Pamela perhaps has some relation to Caitlin, and based on her answer of I've known her for a few years or two, I'm going to guess that she is indeed her mom. Thanks, Pamela, for watching. And then some of the guesses that of Brenda's answer. I agree, Brian. That is why I do enjoy the chat. While chat sometimes can get a little crazy.
I've seen this with my own eyes.
That's why you have moderators. But for the most part, it's good because and that was nearly an 8-pin from Zavyalova, but it goes. The chat, to me, in my opinion, this is just how I like to operate. It's a very essential part because we can come up with stuff all the time to chat with, but every now and then, I mean, it's important to actually talk about maybe what the viewer would like to discuss.
Absolutely.
If you have a question. And if we can answer it, certainly. If we can't answer it, we'll do our best to get the answer for you. Or get somebody who can answer it better than we could. Certainly. So that's always our goal. Dora, let's we'll see if we'll double check. Okay, Aaron has double checked on 35 and 38. Looks like we're all good here. Looks like we missed a few interesting notes too. Yeah, piggybacking on that triplicate you mentioned. 1, 2 out of 3. The lost series sounds like that night. Jackie Kozier.
Yeah, that was to me actually.
Oh, did he bowl you?
We bowled against each other. I went
What'd
300.
you shoot?
I went 300, 279, front 9,
Good Lord.
and then pocket 810 in the 10th.
Via, how do you hang around this guy? I don't know how I've been able to do it for so long. Unbelievable. We're into game 4, folks. Game 4 of 6. This is overall. What are we at? Game 12?
This would be total.
14.
This would be game 16.
I mean,
3 to go. 18 games total. Baby brain. Baby brain. Come on, Rook. Come on, Rook.
oh, look at him throwing the jabs at me. You know, I honestly walked in here thinking with the mindset that we had 8 games to block. So that still kind of creeps into my head every now and then.
You were telling me that last night.
Jackie, would you be related to Steve? I think you are, but I just want to confirm. Christopher from Chesterfield, Richmond, Virginia, via Springfield, Illinois, certainly the land of Jeff Carter. West Lafayette, Indiana, land of Purdue, and Erie, Pennsylvania, land of Bob Lerner, Mike Machu. That's a lot going on there, Christopher. You got a lot of ties to a few spots in this country. Pretty cool stuff. I believe Rebecca has mentioned to me, just in passing or in the chat, in regards to former residents in West Lafayette. Husband worked at Purdue. This is fantastic. I feel I've learned a lot about our viewers today. Ooh, backgammon.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay.
It could be.
I'm not sure. I'm not a backgammon. You know.
A backgammon is played with small round pieces, but the board, here's a picture of the board if you want. I've never understood how to play.
Yeah, that looks to be kind of similar. At least the pieces are.
Yeah. We'll ask her later. We'll get confirmation on that because
Indeed.
now I want to know.
Absolutely. Jackie, I thought so, but I wasn't sure. Never like to make assumptions on the internet.
We do have some game 15 standings.
What do we got there?
The top of the standings has cooled off a little bit. Sherry Tan, 219. Shannon Plahowski, 205 their last game. So that puts Sherry at plus 615, 615. Shannon at plus 504. Liz Johnson plus 410. Dasha, 391. Birgit, 367. Clara at 304. Rocio, 297. Liz Culkin, 292. Shannon O'Keefe, 285, and a two-way tie for 10th position between Danielle and Elise at 262 each. Dario, 256 over. Brianna in 13th at 220. DZ at 207. Missy at 206. And it's your top 15 outside the top 15, but inside the top 18 cut with 3 games to go. Ashley Galante, plus 202. Sydney Brummett, plus 182. And Stephanie Johnson back inside the top 18 at plus 180. 26 pins down from Stephanie to 19th place Nicole Trudell at 154. Valerie Bercier down to plus 150 in 20th. Daphne Tan is 21st at 133. And then it's a 28 pin drop to Summer Jasmine and Lindsay Boomershine.
Boy, it's we're getting down to it, as we know. Bernice Lim, former Queens champion. the Rubik's Cube. As most people recall or remember about her performance that evening. KT Simpson, Ashley Galante. KT buries the rack here in the fourth frame. Carrie Smith, by the way, next door, 21 and 22 with the front five. Don Gora. There's Sandra throwing urethane. I'm just curious based on some of the angles she's playing. I like Sandra very good at, she definitely can play left. She likes to hook it, certainly. And if you know anything about her game or have seen her bowl, you've seen her hook it at some point or another. But she is pretty solid at going up the boards. Doesn't look to be, though. If that was the last bowling ball that was back, it looks like it was.
No, that's got.
Looks like maybe an old GB.
Yeah, it's got one of the EBIs, one of their GB cover stocks on it. So it's. Yeah, when she first threw it on 24 last game, just the motion and how straight, I was like, is she throwing everything?
Yeah. Some relevance of a game breaker, perhaps. Low surface. Haley has left an 8-pin and a wrap 10 on the right lane.
Unofficially, as far as the points go, again, nothing has changed. In or out. Stephanie and Tanya, by my numbers, have flipped positions at 15th and 16th. And DZ, Birgit, Sherry, and Valerie, who are 17, 18, 19, and 20, have shuffled their positions. But after that game, I'm still seeing a 2,000-point difference between 16th and 17th. And that's kind of where it's been all day. So somebody outside, somebody outside of that top 16 is going to need to pick up some spots here. But right now, a lot of players around the cut are inside the top 18. The only ones that are outside are Tanya and Sherry.
Carrie Smith with the front six. Carrie again on 21 and 22. Someone who has no problems going up the boards. That certainly would be a player like Carrie Smith. Carry. Got some carry.
Got some carry.
Trips the 4-10. She's got the front seven. Looks like some players down here on our low end moving a little quicker than there's some pairs on the high end that are in frame 3 and 4.
Haley Richard getting no love from the single pins on this pair. Stone 8 to start the game and a hard 10 pin right there. 2 other singles surrounding a double in the 3rd and 4th. You know, I got a question. I don't know if this is just something that I've noticed this season because I've been watching, or if this has been going on for the last couple of years, but the Queens show was an all-international show. Right now, the standings after 15 games, 4 of the top 6 are international players: Sherry Tan, Dasha, Birgit, and Clara. Is there something about these majors that the international players just, they all seem to gravitate towards the top of the standings?
No, I wouldn't say it's majors in general. I think since that Queen show up, but honestly was kind of the, I hate to say the start, but just because the tour was still new at that time, just in its 2nd season, I'm not sure people really realized how versatile the tour would be in regards to the representation of various countries. You know, it was like the first time, you know, not the first time the bowling world overall had seen like Team Singapore, for example, but it was the first time that the majority,
yes,
certainly would have had seen a Team Singapore. Then all of a sudden, Team Malaysia is starting to come over, and then if you add into the fact that players that fans are used to seeing, like a Clara, a Rocio, and Maria, these players are actually from Colombia. You know, Sandra Gangor from Mexico. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden it's just, wow, we really do have a true international tour. And that just simply means that everyone in the world, you hear it all the time about, you know, international competition and teams, you know, how they practice and, you know, how they collaborate and how they train, because everyone is getting better across the world, everybody. And it's evident on this tour because you go down the list. And so I don't think it's just majors. I think they're just good. But majors, I think, bring out the best in everybody. And I think you get a different level of focus from everyone in that sense. And you know, when it's major time, everyone wants to win a major. Everyone wants to win their first major. They want to say, at least I won a major in my career.
Yes.
So I do think the focus, you know, not just for international players, but is higher for everyone. But kind of going back maybe to our point about international competition and medal winning, you know, Team Singapore is not here to, you know, quote unquote waste time.
No.
When they come here, they got business to. It's a business trip. It's not a vacation. We've seen that or heard that from various teams. And if you've been on a team, hey, we're going to, when we went to Vegas for sectionals, right? First time.
Yeah.
Someone had to tell us that this is not a vacation. This is a business trip first. But, that's how they approach it. And again, same thing to the players who are not traveling, hours upon hours to get here. It's a business trip for them too. But to your, you talked about specifically international players and their representation in this, on the score sheet, on the results and the standings. And they don't mess around.
Note from Double A-Ron, Missy Parkin down on 31 and 32 on the front 7.
Good comments in the chat regarding international players. And a good point in regards to collegiate bowling, as Bernice Lim gets 4 from the Greek Church. Our first introductions sometimes from an international perspective regarding players is at the collegiate level. Wichita State's, Weber, even Nebraska.
And that wasn't so much the case when we were in college.
Yeah, I mean, almost every university has or is recruiting a player that is not from the United States. And it works both ways. Gives an opportunity, obviously, to players to come over, gain an education, gain some experience, train. If either way it goes, if they want to become a professional bowler, or if they'd like to pursue the professional side of whatever they decided to major. Sandra Gungor went to Wichita State. Diana Zavialova went to Weber.
Clara went to Wichita.
Rocio went to Wichita. Verity went to Weber. Pamela Alvarez spent some time at Wichita. Tanya Raumenfer went to Wichita. Let's see, who else do I see? Stephanie Martins went to Weber. Dasha Kovalova went to Wichita. These are just players I see right now. Valerie that's her maiden name, Calberry. Valerie Bercier went to Nebraska. For those who may not know, Valerie is from Canada. Maria went to Maryland Eastern Shore. Jazriel Tan, I believe, to my knowledge, the only player from Team Singapore who went to college in the United States. I believe. Okay. I'm not 100% sure, but I do know Jazriel Tan went to Wichita State.
Missy Parkin going to Striketown right now with the front 8 down on 31 and 32. Just carried a half pocket, kind of blew the 7 out late to get her 8th one. Also stringing them on her pair, Kayla Bandy has been spare split 6-bagger. She's up in the 9th. That's something I talked about with Sherry yesterday. Is that it's you know, it makes it easier to string strikes when the people on your pair are doing that. It's just you get into a nice rhythm, a nice flow.
Yeah, I always think that's interesting to me. Because you think that, you know, professionals are just kind of so far kind of focused on what they're doing, you know. But, you know, in bowling, when you see other players striking, it, you know, it does keep the rhythm, your rhythm. You lose, obviously, if you're striking too, and it creates this good culture. And you're crossing with these players the entire time, so you know it's like you kind of can't help but want good things for everyone at that point.
Lindsay Boomershine on 279, max score through 8. Just a little bit to our right on 29 and 30. Carrie Smith going to be in the 260s after an 8 count in the 11th. Now we went over the cut and it was 26 pins from 18th down to 19th here in the tournament. But as I've seen the last couple of events, that cut can shrink pretty quickly. I mean, just in the matter of a game. You could have, right now, one player within 26 pins, and after this game or even next game, we could have 4 players within 20. Missy on the front 8. Give her 9.
9 in a row for Missy Parkin.
Missy coming into this game sitting in 15th place at plus 206. She was 42 pins up on 19th. Excuse me, 52 pins up on 19th. So in a good position.
If you'd like to check out a different view, we live on Instagram, PWBA Tour Instagram. So check it out momentarily. Get a hone in and get a bird's eye view of what's happening. If Missy Parkin can shoot the first 300 of the event. Randomness, Daniel Farish, but I do this quite often. I'll ask for something, or I'll go get some tea or coffee, whatever it is now, some kind of hot beverage. As Haley Richard doubles in the 10th frame, I'll put it down and say, okay, I'll get back to it momentarily. Earlier, I actually forgot about where it was, couldn't figure it out. And now this hot tea that was hot at 8 a.m. is nowhere near hot. Gongora. Big one in the 10th frame. Another one here, and Sandra can get it to the 240s. I gotta drink some cold tea.
Let's go to the snack bar. I haven't heated up.
They're hosting the event. They're done. They've done enough. They've got enough to deal with. .216 for Richard. And a 4-pin for Gongora. 237. Hey, Tiff. I mentioned you yesterday, Tiffany, so that just means that you weren't watching yesterday. And now you are. major trouble for Daphne Tan. By the way, Missy Parkin, it's her turn. On lane 32. MP. Player from Cal State Fullerton. Back in the day.
They have a phenomenal baseball program.
They do. They had an exceptional bowling team as well. Missy was part of. Tiffany Taylor to our right, the local from Raleigh. Parkin, 10th frame, first shot.
Splits the rack.
Okay, fair enough, Tiff, fair enough. Chris Pulliam. Hello, sir. Chris, I've been waiting for you. Because we've got some questions for you. Some questionable items I saw on social media. Then this is how it starts, how rumors start. As soon as you say, I saw it on social media.
He'll tell us if it's photoshopped, but you know.
Yeah, he'll let us know. All right, Parkin looking for number 11. Gets the 10 out.
Missy Parkin trying to do as her Dodgers do and strike out.
Well, wow. I don't know, man. I don't know if you can say that one. That one might be reaching right there. Because they're pretty good. They don't really miss the ball these days. But I see what you did there. I know who you were targeting. Is Missy a Dodgers fan?
I have no idea.
I feel like she's not. We gotta ask about that. I feel like the Angels were in play. What's in play though is the first perfect game. And since everyone is waiting for Missy, let's just go ahead and turn the camera. Diane is waiting. Everyone else is waiting. And there it is. And that, my friends, is the first perfect game of the 2019 QubicaAMF PWBA Players Championship. Yalova finishes things out. Fill shot.
Lindsay Boomershine going to shoot .267 this game, awaiting an attempt on a 2.8 conversion.
Well, good thing it won't be me in trouble. It's a rookie mistake.
What's that?
It would be like saying that I was a Cubs fan.
Oh, she's an Angels fan?
Yes. I thought I knew that. Figured. There's only one Dodgers fan we really know about. He's in the chat. We're on to Game 5, ladies and gentlemen. That means 2 more games until not only the field is cut to the top 18 for match play, but we get closer and closer to finalizing the field of 16 for the PWBA Tour Championship. Thanks, Tiff. He is. See, if you had the sound on yesterday, Tiffany, you know all about these great baby stories that I was telling. But maybe I'll just tell you in person. So hopefully I'll see you at some point. Alexander, my man. Michelle, appreciate it. How about that? And my guy Jeff finishes his run and gets a 300 game on the end of his run.
It's a solid way to cap off a workout.
Okay, Christopher Pulliam, while we have a moment. Someone just happened to be perusing, social media, And, I know yesterday you said you were on vacation at near Lake Erie, and I said, oh, okay. Yeah, well, that's pretty cool. Not really thinking about Lake Erie. You did say you were in Ohio. But, there's the photo of you, unless, you might have a twin brother, of you in an Indians jersey. Cleveland Indians jersey. Please let me know if this is you. Please confirm it's not you. Just tell me it's not. And then once you tell me that it is you, then you've got to explain this Dodger situation and how this works. Do you get a chance? Can you just wear random jerseys when you visit or attend a new ballpark or new stadium? Do you just wear that team's jersey? Do you just collect them as you go along through each ballpark? What are you doing, Chris? What you got to talk to us here about this?
That would be about the only reasonable explanation. Is he collects jerseys and wears them when he's there.
That sounds reasonable. I mean, it does. I'm not going to lie to you. Another good reason for him would be if he was trying to troll me indirectly. I'm trying to give him an out here. If he said, I only wore this Cleveland Indians jersey because I know Emil is a White Sox fan, and Cleveland is always near the top of the division, et cetera, et cetera. That would be acceptable. I wouldn't believe it, but it'd be acceptable. So you got to talk to me, homie.
Maybe Cleveland is his AL team, his second team.
And if that's the case, I'm all right with that too. Okay. All right, Chris. Okay. I told you my memory is Oh. Truth hurts, don't it? All right, Chris.
Oof, man, that's rough.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I really like Chris. I like everybody, but it's rare that you meet strangers, and then obviously you share some things in common. Then you just start throwing jabs at each other, and it's all good. Right. There's nothing I can say once you throw in wives. So he's smart. The only difference is, though, with my wife is that she intentionally became a Cubs fan just to create interference, separation.
Do you all have
amongst baseball teams
one of those house divided license plates where you've got Cubs on one side and White Sox on the other?
No, it's not that bad, but it could be. It could get there. There was a she was just telling the story. So we have a flagpole outside of our house, and there was an apparel store closing, sports apparel store closing, and they had a flag. They had a W flag, fly the W. If you're familiar with baseball, Cubs fans, fly the W, etc. And so she bought the flag. I saw it. I'm like, there's no way that's ever going up. There's just no chance we're ever putting this up. This flagpole. We actually had an American flag up, but unfortunately it had ripped, so we had to take it down, and the wind was just tearing it up. So we had to take it down. Well, of course, and I think this was 2016. I think it was around the time where they were marching toward the World Series. And I go outside. And of course, there was really nothing I can do because here's a team that literally is going marching toward the World Series. And there she is, putting it up. Just pulling it up, stringing it on up the flagpole. And I'm just taping this, or recording it rather. And I know it's one of Aaron Smith's favorite moments because he too is a Cubs fan, and he saw it.
I did not know that.
And I said, look at this. And I said some expletive words.
This tomfoolery. These shenanigans.
Look at this here. This is what I got to deal with. As she passionately and proudly flew the W at the crib. And there it is. My man, Chris. You know I had to get you. I had to ask about that. So we've got Cleveland and the Dodgers for Chris. Now he's got more. Yeah, we talked about this White Sox thing. I do remember this now. Well, Chris, the offer still stands, buddy. Whenever we can figure it out, we should take in 9 innings at some point. This is what you get here on Bowl TV.
Bowling and baseball?
Bowling 95% of the time.
Yeah.
That 5%, we're not quite sure what's going to happen, but we're going to give you some that's not on the lanes, and that's very necessary. You need a little bit of balance, and balance would be 50-50, but it's not that kind of balance. Bowling first. Bercier knocks it down.
Well, we are 1 strike from Dasha Kovalova away from 90% of the shots on 23 and 24, resulting in strikes to open up Game 5. Valerie Bercier, the only spare on the board. The rest of the players, including Valerie, have struck every other shot. Dasha makes it 3 in a row. Jen Higgins a double. Jody Westner a double. And against, of course, Valerie 9 spare double. Kelly Kulik, meanwhile, on 25, cannot get the flat 10 to fall. Shannon Plahowski, the only player on that pair that has struck through the first 3 frames.
Updated. Are we updated?
Not yet.
Okay.
We had a pair down the high end that was just finishing up.
So it should be updated pretty soon.
Yeah, they're still finishing down there. So yeah, a couple more minutes.
Oh, you're right. They literally are still in game number 4. Okay.
I think Rocio just wrapped up Game 4 on that pair.
Well, Dasha and Jen Higgins both starting with the front 3. If you are just joining us, this is the QubicaAMF PWBA Players Championship. My name is Emil Williams Jr. with Daniel Farish, Aaron Smith, Curtis Von Kruger, Bowl TV crew here. Our tournament staff also includes Director of Operations Neil Milligan, Kathy Wadka, and Kathy Kavicki. Big thanks to Buffalo Lanes North here in Raleigh, North Carolina. Led by Melissa McDaniel, thanks to the Buffalo family. And all of the staff here at Buffalo Lanes so far, fantastic. It's certainly new coming into it. They have been very great, very helpful. One other note to keep in mind. The first round of match play scheduled for this afternoon, originally scheduled for 1 p.m., will now begin at 2 p.m. Again, the first round of match play that was originally scheduled for 1 p.m. now will begin at 2 p.m. That is in preparation for some potential inclement weather that could be in the area. And on the radar, on the forecast. So again, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. The first round of match play with the top 18 players will begin.
had a little funny ball reaction, but better.
What's up, KC? Appreciate you tuning. I too am ready. Although I missed, well, no, I had breakfast. I had oatmeal. Chris, you will get the chance to meet Daniel because he indeed will be at the Tour Championship. Rebecca, yes, the giveaway guru is no longer giving away for us here at Bowl TV. Brent will be giving away. He has moved on to higher heights, my main man. But I will certainly alert him that the Bowl TV viewers were wondering and asking about him, and I'm sure you all wish him well. I do think he's in the in Chris's cool group, so you can still hang out and chat with him. He left us in this dust.
Thankful though that he didn't take any of the rock stars with him, so we have plenty of rock stars here to keep hydrated with.
I'm gonna let him know immediately. But you kids be sure to let him know too that you asked about him, and as Chris mentioned, Brant, if there's one thing I know about Brant, he will always be active on on social media. And he'll be updating us all on his new endeavors.
We do have some scores to go over after Game 4 this morning. Sherry Tanier, leader at 640. Shannon Plahowski closed the gap a little bit that game, plus 538. Dasha is at 405. She's jumped Liz Johnson for third place. Liz falls to fourth at 403. Birgit Poplar still settled in the fifth position at 355. Shannon O'Keefe, 332. Neil, we talked about Shannon the last couple of days. She's been hovering right around that 16-17 spot. Just never seemed to have great motion. Well, she's jumped from 17th up to 6th in 4 games today. Rocio's at 321. Missy Parkin at 300 jumps her up into 8th position at plus 306. Clara at 299. Liz Culkin at 298. Danielle McEwen, 288. Elise Bolton, 261. Brianna Cote, 244. Daria Payok, 235 in 14th and in 15th. Ashley Galante at 213. Outside the top 15, but inside that important top 18 cut with only 2 games to go. Diana Zevyalova, 16th at plus 198. Tied with Stephanie Johnson at 198. And Sid the Kid is your 18th and final position with 2 games to go at 183. She now has 2 players within 11 pins. Nicole Trudell still in 19th position at 180, only 3 pins out of the cut. And Lindsay Boomershine's big 267 game jumps her up to plus 172, only 11 pins out. It is 25 pins from Lindsay down to Valerie Bercier, Daphne Tan, Jen Higgins, and the rest of the field. Daphne Tan in 22nd is at plus 144, so she is 39 out of 18th And Jen Higgins, who is one spot behind Daphne, is 40 pins behind. So you're kind of seeing we've got 4 players that can see the cut line: Nicole, Lindsay, Valerie, and Daphne, with Jen Higgins on that next tier, 40 pins out behind Daphne in 22nd.
Obviously, for many players, cashing could hold the same type of significance. Obviously, it's different if you made match play, but you know, cashing at a major, working your way to a cash spot certainly could be a good way to cap off the season for some. So you'll still see players still fighting. Oh, man. Well, we know what Dasha Kovalova is capable of on the big stage. She's got the front 6. Ooh. That's a mean wrap 10 there. More like a ring 10. That head pin skyrocketed right above the 10 pin in a vicious manner. I mentioned yesterday that like Dasha's bowling ball just hits the pins in a very violent manner. And the way the head pin just shot up across the or above the 10 pin makes you wonder still how the just the ever so slight distances between pins. How they all just never fall when the ball hits that hard.
Based on my numbers, as far as the points go, still no change in who is in and who is out. Tanya and Stephanie have flipped that 15th, 16th position yet again. Tanya Rummerper down at 29th, or tied for 29th right now with 2 games to go. The players around her, Stephanie tied with Diana. Stephanie 15th in the points, Diana 18th. They are tied currently in 16th for the tournament. So both of them in a position to earn 18 more games to have a chance to improve their position in the points. Birgit Poplar is in 17th in the points, but 5th in the tournament. So she would probably pretty much need to make the TV show and win a match or two to have a chance to get into Richmond. It's going to be fun to watch, however. You know, a player that we talked a little bit about early on was Maria Jose Rodriguez, who had that very unfortunate accident where the bowling ball dropped on her foot and hit her toe and fractured her big toe on her right foot. You know, she's here bowling because, one, that's what bowlers do. That's what these players do, is they bowl. This is their job. But two, you know, she was at a spot in the points where she may have been okay had she not bowled, but she felt, you know what, I can't risk it. And at one point today, she had dropped into the low 40s in the standings of the tournament and was losing points. But this game starts this game out front 4 up here to our left. She's climbed back up into the mid 30s in the tournament, which is just more and more points for her. So she is getting the job done and achieving the goal set forth when she laced up yesterday morning, and that's to get as many points as possible.
Good. Wow. Oh, man.
Great shot by Sarah on lane 26. Just another stone 7 pin.
Well, I think this is is this the first time we've seen Shannon all day? On the featured pairs, I'm referencing Puhalski.
Today?
Yes.
Yes.
So, based on her performance today, I'm imagining that well, she's had a few shots that have looked like that throughout the day. She looks exceptionally comfortable.
Well, she's picked up 35 pins on Sherry today. So far through 4 games. Shannon does have the high 4-game set, so she's, you said, very comfortable. Likes her look and has certainly attacked it with the ferocity that we would expect from a player like her. Oh.
4-9 there for Jody. And a late kick of the 10 for Kelly Kulik. And Kelly in 27th. I mentioned a little bit earlier, it's at plus 90. Right now, 94 back of the number.
Jody just misses connecting on the 4. I don't know if she had hit the 4 that thin, if it would have gotten to the 9 pin or not, but a good attempt on it.
Kelly essentially needs them all here in a big game, obviously in game 6, and some help from the players who right now are just inside the number. A double there from Pamela Alvarez. So the fight for, again, to advance in this tournament, match play, top 18, the fight to cash, and then the essentially long-term fight, basically, which is not long-term, but it's short-term.
It's turned into short-term now.
For the spot in the Tour Championship. Higgins. Jen is 23rd at plus 104. Carries a 4 pin, and all of a sudden she could be in the 260s with a double in the 10th frame. And Jen Higgins potentially could give herself a chance to sneak in this top 18 with a game to go. Aaron Smith alerting us that Jay Rich is going to be in the 260s, and she's over on 29 and 30, along with Danielle McEwen, who also has got a string going. She's got 5 in a row. She's clean. So briefly, you can start kind of looking ahead to match play, and we know Match play always presents different challenges. You know, this is the match play in its traditional sense. Just like you saw at the U.S. Women's Open. Not what you see at the Queens, for example. That's a different form of match play, bracket match play. This is head-to-head, and you do get 30 pins for a W, 15 for a tie, and of course 0 if you lose the match. We've seen runs be made from various portions of in the results in the standings. Dasha, one more, she will be in the 260s. We also know that if you go in leading the event when match play starts, it is very possible that you could end a 6-game round not only not in first place, but even a few more places downward, depending on how things fall for you.
Oh no. Valerie sets that spare attempt on the bucket wide. That spare ball just never recovers. On this pattern, it wasn't going to. Costly open in the 10th there for Valerie Bercier. Valerie fighting not only for the cut in the tournament, but the cut for Richmond. She did, however, enter the tournament with a sizable lead in the Rookie of the Year race. And she is currently in 21st, and Julia Bond is in 40th. Valerie looking pretty good to take home the Rookie of the Year honors with 1 game to go.
Yeah, once that looks like after this game, that would be official, barring it's almost official at this moment. Another great rookie class when we think back about it. You know, sometimes we don't know just offhand, and because we get a chance to see the collegiate scene a lot, we do have some knowledge of who may, be making that next step. Excellent game again from Dasha. Ooh, winning the 8-9. And Kelly Kulik, at the very least, and that's all you can do, especially with a game to go, is give yourself an opportunity.
Remember what I said about the standings closing up? Mm-hmm. Kelly's going to jump up there. Jordan Richard has jumped up there. Perfect motion right there.
Dial him in.
Yeah.
Just dial it in there, Shannon Pluhowski. Just dial it up. 1-800 strike. Yeah, I got a reservation for 10. The name? Oh, Pluhowski. Shannon. Sorry. It's okay.
I tell you, there are some things I've missed over the last couple of weeks. It's little things like that I've missed.
Higgins, can she give herself a chance? It's okay. 250 ain't bad.
Stephanie Johnson can shoot 290. This note from Aaron Smith. Danielle McEwen, by the way, her race to 260 that game, she split the 10th for 231 following Jordan Richard, but Danielle well inside the cut, up in 11th place at a plus 288. Stephanie, however, tied for 16th, so a 290 game would be massive for her.
It would be a huge move, again, in both facets, from this event and also
for the
tour
points.
championship purposes.
Yes, sir.
This year's rookie class, let's see, of course, Valerie, Julia Bond, Gigi, Jasmine Mason, Caitlin Simpson,
Jennifer Hokersack.
Jennifer Hokersack. I'm forgetting 2 or 3 people right now. So, who will it be in 2020? Which group of collegiate stars, international standouts will make their way on the PWBA tour? Oh, some aggression and some excitement from Brianna Cote over on 21 and 22.
Well, 2 chopped multi-pin spares this game with 5 strikes and 2 converted spares. She can shoot 208.
All right, 183 for Sarah Willie. Alvarez, 213. Again, 266 from Kelly Kulik. Wowski shoots 247. Trying to gain a few pins on that on the leader, Sherry Tan.
Looks like Stephanie got the first one, possibly the second one in the 10th as well. I can't see from this far down, but definitely got the first one. So Stephanie Johnson at least going to be in the 270s.
Oh. Wow. That was almost an 8-pin that wiggled, moved to its right, then finally fell over on its left side. 8-pin from Liz Johnson.
Looks like Stephanie did get the first one. She did not get the second one. Left appears to be a bucket, so 276, 277 for Stephanie Johnson this game. That'll put her well inside the cut and give her the opportunity to pick up more points by making the match play portion of this tournament. Casey, I got some bad news for you, bud. There are no solid lilies.
Oh.
And I say that as a player who has left it.
Yeah,
So
you have.
I can say that.
That's funny. Well, I mean, we all have, but that's fantastic stuff. Oh, shoot.
The lily is a 5.710.
A solid lily. Like, it's only, you could be sarcastic with it.
There's sarcasm coated all over that.
That's
Absolutely.
Fun. That's fun. It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
I've left many a solid 5-pin in my life.
I saw my guy Steve Klumpkin was in the chat earlier. Hopefully he's still watching. Even if not, big shout out to Steve. And as Michelle mentioned, I was a guest on the recent Storm Collegiate podcast on Above 180 with Steve Klumpkin and Tim Berg. So I was the host of a podcast this week, and last week I was a guest on one. So the hosted podcast, of course, with Diana Zavjalova and Valerie Bercier, right here on Bowl TV. Check that out on the Backstage channel. It's this week's Bowl TV Central On the Road podcast segment. And then visit above180.com to listen to me with Tim Berg and Steve Clumpkin. We talk a little bit about my time at Lindenwood, my time on tour, and my new little homie, young Trey. Have you ever left a 5-7-10? Be honest. That might be the greatest poll question we've ever had. Come on, people. Don't be afraid. Your name's not going to be attached to it. Just hit yes or no. Do it. I like the nah, I don't do that. That's great. All right, we got a little delay here on our featured pairs, as you can see. We've got 2 pairs finishing things up, so obviously there was a delay at some point in time. Results, most people have indeed left a 5-7-10. It's 22 of you, in fact, who voted. 8 of you were in the nah, I don't do that category. That's so great.
Which means we have 8 fibbers in the Bowl TV chat. Now, the Lily is something that not every bowler will leave, but if you bowl enough over the course of your lifetime, you will at some point leave one. So if you haven't left one yet, well, your time is coming.
I'm just guessing, and I honestly don't remember, but I feel like I've left one at some point. The likelihood of it is at some point in your life, and you know, whether it's league, tournament, whatever it is, if you've got friends around, and even if you don't have friends around, you might get a look or two, just once or twice. So Valerie Mercier is over on 27 and 28.
Here you go, E. There's proof. It was during league one night, about 4 years ago.
The rack was bad. That's all. It's a bad rack.
Rack was fine, man. All right, waiting on one pair to wrap up. Gigi Mason, Rocio, Liz Johnson, who has completed her game, and Nicole Trudell. They are all in or have completed the 10th frame, down on 19 and 20.
By the way, players you are waiting on to see be Jasmine Mason, Gigi, Rocio Restrepo, Liz Johnson. Oh, you just said that, right? Or are you just saying that they finished in their
I don't
game?
realize they were hitting our next pair.
That is who is in our next pair.
Okay.
Nicole Trudell.
How about that?
Brianna Cote, Sydney Brummett, Maria Jose Rodriguez, and Christine Gill. The players are aware, as you've seen before throughout several events on tour this season. We've been utilizing scoring monitors if they have the capabilities to run a ticker. That is how the players are kind of aware. They can obviously, view on their phones and have other people tell them the results if they'd like. There are, of course, some events where phones are not in play and cannot be used. So that's what you see, of course, at the bottom of your screen on the scrolling ticker. here is Brianna Cote. You saw her mouth to herself. Good shot to start. So here it is, folks. The final game. Again, for many, this is the final game of the season. For some, it's a break in between match play. For some, it's potentially the last opportunity to do what they can to make the Tour Championship.
Looks like everyone has finished up game number 5 of this morning. So once the scores are updated, we will get them to you. If you would like to check them out for yourself, head over to pwba.com/live. That will give you all of the tournament information from the QubicaAMF Players Championship that you could possibly want. If you're watching on Bowl TV, click on the third icon on the tab. Looks like a book. Drops down, says tournament information. Click tournament information, and that will take you directly to that page.
All right, Liz gets one left, but just leaves a single pin. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, if you missed anything in rounds 1 or 2 yesterday, you can revisit the action in the archived event section. Same thing goes for any other event this season on the PWBA Tour and several other events that we've had early on in Bowl TV land. So once the season's over and you're having some PWBA withdrawals, be sure that you've got your eye on the archived events channel and keep your eye on Bowl TV nonetheless. The likelihood of additional content PWBA related during the off season is very high. So just keep that in mind. Of course, we'll be, from a live events perspective, we'll be having a lot of collegiate action for you as well. So you can get a chance to see the next crop of players who might be on not only the PWBA Tour, but the PBA Tour respectively.
We do have some numbers after game 17. Shannon Plahowski has closed within 61 pins of Sherry Tan. Sherry at 646 over, Shannon Plahowski 585. Dasha in third, 472, so 113 behind Shannon. Liz Johnson at 418. Rocio at 377. Birgit 347. Liz Culkin 345. Shannon O'Keefe 329. Danielle McEwen 319. Clara in 10th at 313. Elise Bolton 299. Missy Parkin 285. Stephanie Johnson skyrockets up to 13th at 275 after shooting 277. Daria 249 over in 14th. In 15th, Ashley Galante at 237. Brianna Cote is in 16th at 231. DZ Diana Zavyalova 46 pins back of Bree in 17th at 185. Jordan Richard is now 18th at 170. Nicole Trudell still in 19th, only 5 pins behind Jordan. Valerie Bercier up to 20th, only 6 pins behind the cut. Lindsay Boomershine in 21st is 11 pins out. Jen Higgins in 22nd is 13 pins out. Kelly Kulik is 14 pins out. Daphne Tan and Sydney Brummett tied at 15 pins out.
Wow.
Eight players within 15 pins.
I mean, honestly, you could even go down to 26th. I mean, Gongora would need a huge game, but it's mathematically possible. Verity Crawley has gone open 5-bagger. She would definitely need them all. She's at plus 107 to even get to give herself a legit chance at it. Shannon has gotten stronger as the rounds have went on. Or I should say as the day has gone on. We talked about the lack of carry and whatnot the first couple of rounds, but carry hadn't been an issue today for the most part. That cut number, excuse me, lasted cash right now is plus 56.
Unofficially, still some shuffling inside the points cut for Richmond, north of that 16th place position, but no one has jumped in or fallen out. Tanya is still 16th place in the points, 30th in the tournament, while 3 of the 4 players behind her are inside the tournament cut, and the 4th player behind her, Valerie Bercier, is just a few pins out.
Nicole Trudell has thrown 3 excellent shots. She's got the front 3, and she again is 5 pins back of right now Jordan Richard for the 18th and final spot for match play. Tanya Raumemper is clean through 6, a double in frames 5 and 6. Gigi Mason takes care of the 3, 6, 9, 10.
Valerie Bercier trying to catch her first double of the game in the 7th, but wraps a 10-pin after a strike in the 6th. She's clean through 6, shooting a 10 in the 7th, but she's going to need to find a way to string them to pick up some pins on the players ahead of her.
Oh, and Crawley wraps a 10 in the 8th frame. And that might have shut down any chance. Meanwhile, Nicole Trudell has every chance. 4 in a row for the former Sacred Heart All-American. We mentioned she can play. She knows how to do this thing we call bowling. And she has performed at the highest levels at arguably the toughest event, the U.S. Women's Open. Good to see continued success for Rocio Restrepo, as Ro has done excellent work to right now put herself in the top 5. Think about Ro's season overall with her health, battling some health concerns and troubles and getting back to 100% slowly but surely. Had a couple of good weeks and now will find herself in match play of a major title. And for someone like Ro, who I don't believe has missed the Tour Championship in her career to this point, would have to win a title, would have to win this event to make it there.
Zavyalova down on 37-38, bowling for her tournament and season right now. No doubles through 6 frames with a split in the 3rd frame. She's currently 17th at plus 185. 20 pins up on 19th, Nicole Trudell, who right here in front of us, as you've mentioned, has the front 4.
And for someone like Gigi right now, who I think is going to be able to look back on her first season. By the way, before we get into that, check your lower third. Outside the cut and on camera, Valerie Bercier. That's a viewership note for you, the viewer. Nice job by Aaron Smith. I tell you, folks who are important right now to this cut number and where they are located so you can go watch them. But Gigi, I'm sure, will look back on this and certainly talk about what she's learned, both good, bad, the ugly, if you will. But I think all in all, a very successful season for someone who I believe is on the right path and destined for a lot of good things in her young career and her career overall. Jen Higgins on 27 and 28 at plus 157. There is indeed a fly.
Yeah.
As the fly is now near me. Hopefully it doesn't interrupt any players. There's Sydney Drummond. Jody Wessner can max at 279, but well, could get Jody into the cash number. Again, we talked about, you know, goals. Well, listen, at the end of the day, if you can't win the tournament, you certainly don't want to leave with $0. So cashing, again, 32nd place is the final cash spot. There's players that still can get there. Jody, for example. Gigi Mason is right there as well. Valerie Bercier doubles. Valerie is 20th right now. She can get to 228. Kelly Kulik can only get to 212. That doesn't look like it's going to be enough. Jen Higgins can max out at 247. That potentially could be in business if she can strike out. Trudell in trouble. Well, the Bridgeport, Connecticut native. 4-7-10 for Nicole Maria. Bang. Vamos. Ten back for Liz Johnson. Again, the cut number is Jordan Richard at plus 170, and Shannon Pluhowski. I would say so far the qualifying rounds of the best one so far of her season here at the Players Championship. Can max at 280. She's got the first and the 10th, and would cap off an excellent qualifying round. Obviously, goes without saying. Depending on what Sherry Tan's doing, you've either closed the gap significantly or probably a long shot, but be the top seed after qualifying. Daniel went down to check on Jordan Richard, and Jay Rich, a couple of splits, no doubles through 7 frames. Diana Zavyalova has 1 open and no doubles in 5 frames. So those are updates on Jordan Richard, who is the number. Diana Zavyalova, who is 17th, and Diana needing to remain in that top 18 so she can kind of continue on this tour championship run. Valerie Bercier split here, second shot 10th frame. So if we give her the count, she'll shoot 214. And that would put her at plus 178, and she will be firmly on the bubble. Just alerted the viewers to your notes. Daniel, anything to add?
Have you looked over at Sherry Tan?
I have not.
No strikes through 6 frames and 1 open, so we could conceivably see a new leader.
Just talked about that with Pluhowski. She did finish it out. 280 for Shannon Pluhowski. And so not only, I mean, literally just said the words, she could conceivably certainly close the gap. And what looked to be a long shot at one point of taking over the top seed, it certainly could be in play. Well, somebody to keep in mind as we continue on with match play here this afternoon is Dasha Kovalova. She's just been what seems to be striking at will, but I think because of the performances of Sherry Tan and Shannon Pluhowski, and before that Liz Johnson to an extent as well, Dash just continues to keep moving on up the leaderboard. Restrepo. Boy, another wrap 10 in this building. Well, we are in the 4th quarter here.
Lindsay Boomershine looks like a double start with an open in the middle through 7 frames. She's currently 21st in the standings. 11 pins behind the cut, which is Jordan Richard.
Gigi keeping it clean, which again for Gigi trying to earn one of the final cashing spots is imagining what she is trying to get to right now at plus 28, excuse me, final cashing spot at plus 56. Valerie Bercier in the books at plus 178. And from what we heard from Daniel and Aaron earlier, she could be the number potentially right now. Sydney Brummett. Brummett at plus 155. Sydney's got 259 left. Brummett tied for 24th with Daphne Tan trying to give this number a run. 27 and 28. Jen Higgins already has one in the 10th frame. She's got 4 in a row.
Daphne Tan, open spare 4-bagger this game, down on 37 and 38. Jen Higgins going to come in with 233 possible.
Well, would have loved to have had that one, that second one, obviously, in the 10th frame. That would have put her in the 240s and got her into the 2.0s in her plus minus. Now 232. And she will play the weight game, but plus 189, you never know. So Jen Higgins unofficially at plus 189. Valerie Bercier unofficially at plus 178. Brianna Cote, she was in 16th at plus 231. Well, she's in good shape. Nice shot there for Gigi.
Lindsay Boomershine, another open in the 8th frame down there. I think her max score is going to be around 2-0. Which would not be enough to catch Jen Higgins, who is already in the clubhouse at 189 over.
So the other player to keep in mind right now is Jordan Richard trips a 4-pin to begin the 10th frame.
That's 2 of the last 3 she's tripped 4s on.
And I was going to say, it looks like Jordan has kind of rebooted after some splits in the middle of that game and has rattled off what looks like 4 in a row. Nicole Trudell controls it, folks. And 3-6-10 for Nicole. Again, Trudell at plus 165.
J. Rich going to shoot, I believe, 192 after leaving what looks like a 9-pin in the 11th.
I think Nicole Trudell at the most, her target is 225 this game. And that would put her 1 pin ahead of Jen Higgins.
Daphne Tan can pass both of them. Daphne can punch out from where she's at. She's up in the 9th. I can't tell if she just got the 9th when she did not. Okay, she puts her in the max score in the 230s.
Excellent game here from Rodriguez. And for Maria, she is going to at least get herself a cashing spot. She is going to add some points to her overall point PWBA point total, and she'll be on to the road to Richmond. Cote. Big spare here for Cote. Hey, she's in there, I think. I think she's in either way,
Yeah.
but
She's plus 230 range.
plus 231.
Yeah. Really, you had a bunch of players fighting for 2 spots, fighting for 17th and 18th.
Give a big kudos again to Maria Jose Rodriguez. Again, after the World Championships performance, where she medaled 5 times, including helping Colombia win team gold medal. Had a bowling ball fall on her toe the Saturday following competition. And this is out of her trunk, just opening the trunk and, you know, getting ready to leave, etc., and all of the above, and boom. So coming out, gutting it out here, competing. Looks like she is going to get a cash spot, and then make sure she did what she had to do to ensure a spot at the Tour Championship. And you know why that's even more important, obviously, because you'd love to have your defending champion, your reigning champion, with an opportunity to defend their title, and she will be able to do that.
Daphne Tan, 237. That puts her at 192 over,
Oof.
which jumps Jen Higgins.
Indeed it does. So that may be all she wrote for Valerie Bercier, at least in regards to match play. She was at plus 178.
Zavyalova can get to 27 as she prepares for her 10th frame. Big shot by Nicole Trudell right there.
Looks like Nicole has maybe moved left ever so slightly. So she can get to 242. If Nicole Trudell can punch out, she would move ahead of everyone we've been talking about to this point. And that would include Daphne Tan. You said Daphne's max score was 192?
Daphne's max is 192.
And not score this game. We're talking about her plus and minus total.
Correct. Yes, her plus minus is she can shoot 237 this game. First shot in the 10th right now, down on 37. 4-9.
Wow.
Meanwhile, right next to her, Zavyalova can punch for 227. If Diana just marks out, that's 207. Watch that 4-9 right here.
All right, Sydney Brummett with the first in the 10th. That is 6 in a row for Brummett.
Sydney was at plus 155. She's going to be in the plus 2-0 range. This game's going to jump her ahead of everyone we've been talking about.
Brummett. Bang. Not a rookie anymore. It's Sydney Brummett. Sophomore season. Fort Wayne, Indiana native, or Wichita State Player of the Year, and All-American. Team USA member. Right now, I believe she is at plus 204. That's before this fill shot. And so back to Nicole Trudell. Trudell could get to a max of plus 207 if she brings all 3 in the 10th.
Sid's going to be at 213.
Nicely done, Sydney Brummett.
By my math, Nicole needs the first one.
From Bridgeport, Connecticut. works in cybersecurity. Trudell, what do you have? Bang!
DZ is going to come in at, looks like she's going to be plus 191.
Well, you always want 10, no matter what. It's too close to call. The only way to take out the doubt is to strike. She got the first one in the books. Again, she can get to plus 207 overall. Needs another one here to get there. It's right a little bit. It's going to read. Ooh, 10 back. You better believe it. With her mom sitting back and watching. Just to our left, Snelly watching from Team EBI. For Restrepo. Nicole cannot go ahead of Sydney Brummett. But she has gone around, or at least has a higher total of every other player that we've been talking about. That means Jen Higgins, Valerie Bercier, and Daphne Tan. I do not have a final score for Jordan Richard.
Jordan Richard had 192.
So, Jordan Richard is out. We have a final for Diana Zavyalova.
DZ shot 206.
So, Zavyalova.
By my numbers, I've got Sydney at 214, Nicole at 207, and then DZ at 191 over. And that's your cut right there between Nicole in 18th and DZ in 19th, unofficially based on the numbers we have seen and the information we have been given.
All numbers unofficial until you hear the voice of Tennille Milligan.
Yep.
But we do our best. Generally, we have a pretty good track record, I would say, overall. But again, when it is this close, there is the double and triple check from Kathy and Tennille. Excellent bowling from Nicole Trudell. You could see from the beginning of that game that she had a great look, and it was, in my opinion, simply going to be about the execution and just kind of staying ahead of any moves that needed to be made. I think she did maybe make a subtle move left as the game went on. It looks like it's going to be potentially enough to do so. Again, the final cash spot is 30 seconds.
A few moments and we'll verify the scores. We'll come back and announce who will advance to our top 18 match play finals starting at 2 p.m. So give us just a few moments and we'll announce our advancers.
Well, just as we saw yesterday, through 6 games of qualifying today, this pattern never really broke down to a point where it forced everyone left. The players with a little more firmer speed or a little less hand could stay further right, and the players that like to strap on it, after about a game, they were able to jump in and take advantage of this lower volume, despite the 49 feet. That lower volume and this higher friction QubicaAMF HPL surface synthetic surface, and they could hook it from inside. So I think we saw the best of each player, so long as they made their own, the right decisions for their game. We saw the best out of everybody this week.
I tell you what, we all know last game, 4 cuts and all that are exciting. Thank you, Brandon. We hope it is cool and calm too. Not sure if it's raining yet.
I know it's been overcast all morning.
Yep. So Nathan Bohr, who enjoys weather chasing,
I saw him.
Showed me
a
live at that point radar, and he thought maybe perhaps, I don't know, a couple hours. I don't remember what time that was. So we will see, but thank you, certainly, sir, and everyone else here and everyone in the surrounding areas. Well, just looking ahead to tonight. Thanks, Don. We've talked about, and fans have said it, and it's been stated here in Bowl TV a couple times by fans about, it's cool to see new faces, right? Well, this top 18, if it stands the way we think it's standing, Sherry Tan, not unfamiliar, but was out, obviously, with Team Singapore for several events. She's back in business. Shannon Pluhowski, we know who she is, but in a very meaningful spot and a golden opportunity for her to take advantage of. She's already done so, I think. And, as the lanes continue to transition, as the pattern continues to be laid down, making the tweaks and what she has to do to remain successful. But I didn't see what Sherry Tan finished with.
She struck in the 9th, 10th, and 11th for a 196.
196, okay. So
worth mentioning, Shannon Pluhowski, 15:02 today. Did the same thing the same thing Sherry did yesterday. Finished with the 280 to get to over plus 300 on the day.
That's wow. I'll finish that point in 1 second. So Pluhowski is going to be your new leader heading into match play. She will be the top seed. In all intents and purposes, Sherry Tan will be second. We talked about Dasha Kovalova and the career that she is starting to put together this year, the breakout certainly.
Yes.
Liz Johnson, the Hall of Famer. This is a major. You know what you're going to get and expect from Liz Johnson. Rocio Restrepo, as I mentioned during this past game, back in business, back to feeling better, back to feeling, I would say, great. Ball roll looked pretty good today. I mentioned she drilled the ball last night in preparation for today for what she was missing. And, when Ro gets going, we know what she can do. Birgit has had an excellent August and now September. After, not being in the elite field to open up the elite events in Hartford, makes a couple shows. Now is, kind of obviously firmly in match play and, firmly continuing her chase for the Tour Championship at this point, because unfortunately for some others, that's not the case anymore. We'll keep on going down the list of right now. Liz Culkin just continues to shine. Obviously the reigning player of the year, Shannon O'Keefe, what a day she had. Danielle McEwen, Clara Guerrero. How about Elise Bolton? Right, 5th or 6th yesterday.
5th.
Takes a few pins back today, but doesn't fall out of contention. And I think that was the most important. I think perhaps in the past, Elise may be close, and then there'll be some tough games to where that would do her in. Not the case today. Looks like she's going to be into match play. Missy Parkin, the only 300 was shot today, and it was by Missy Parkin, the only 300 of the tournament thus far. Stephanie Johnson with a big 277 in Game 5 this morning to go from, I can't remember, she was just outside the number at the moment?
She was 18th. She was the number.
18th to, at that time, I don't know, I think 13th or 14th, but we'll see where she completely ends up, but she's going to be in. Daria Payok, who has, kind of turned into someone we said everyone talks about her, and for whatever reasons, and they have their opinions, and, what's wrong with Daria? well, you'll get a chance to see her in match play because she performed well this week. Let's see what type of what she has left, so to speak, to get going and make a move potentially to the TV finals. How about Ashley Galante?
Yeah, that's what I liked about Ashley. Is she's made her way into the main event. A couple of last elite fields, but once she got to that round of the main event, the 32, she never quite could get it together during those 2 8-game blocks, those 2 16-game qualifying days in Orlando and Louisville. Both her finishes there in the lower part of the 20s, right around 28th, I believe it was. So good to see her come out here over these 18 games and be consistent inside the top 18 and make this cut.
Then we can continue on down the list. Brianna Cote, and this is 16th, and I'm reading from the numbers of the previous game. So basically game 17 of 18. Brianna Cote, we believe, had more than enough to be in. And then those final 2 spots we believe to be Sydney Brummett at plus 213 and Nicole Trudell at plus 207. And we are awaiting the final number to make sure that is indeed correct. Well, what do you think about that, Daniel? What a block, but what a final few games.
Well, and it's I'm not Nostradamus here calling the future because we've seen this trend before. After Game 3, it was 26 pins from 18th down to 19th, and it looked like a gap was forming. But we've seen it all too often that as the tournament starts to tighten up and the field gets down to 3 games to go, 2 games to go, 1 game to go. I mean, with 2 games to go, we had 2 players within 13 pins, and then with 1 game to go, we had 8 within 15 pins of the cut. I mean, that is ridiculous. But that's what's great about all these, this long format tournaments is no matter who shoots what when. I mean, we had a lead change in the last game when you didn't think Sherry was going to be caught. And then we had 2 names that had been hovering around the cut. I mean, Nicole had been 19th for the last 4 games today. And then both her and Sydney make big moves that last game. Players who were in the cut had the opportunity to keep themselves there. Daphne Tan with a terrible break. She was looking to jump Nicole and get into that 18th spot. 4 9s in the 10th. Diana Zavyalova was in the cut, could have doubled the 10th. Of course, these players at the time did not know the math because this was all unfolding at the same time. But players had opportunities to make shots to keep themselves in, and they didn't. And others had opportunities to make shots to get in, and they did.
Don't forget, folks, as we await the final number, 2 p.m. Eastern Time is when match play will begin. 2 p.m. Eastern Time. From the... Well, we can't update the Tour Championship part yet because we don't have the official final numbers. And, well, just like that.
Here we go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have our top 18 for the QubicaAMF Players Championship. We're going to start with our tournament leader at plus 665, Shannon Plahowski. Second is Sherry Tan. Qualifying third, Dasha Kovalova. Fourth, Liz Johnson. And fifth is Liz Kulkin. Qualifying sixth at plus 392 is Birgit Herpler. And seventh, we have Rocio Restrepo. Qualifying eighth is Shannon O'Keefe. And ninth, Danielle McEwen. Qualifying 10th at plus 320, Clara Guerrero. And 11th, Daria Payok. Qualifying 12th, our defending champion, Stephanie Johnson at plus 282. And 13th, Elise Bolton. Qualifying 14th, Missy Parkin. And 15th, Ashley Galante at plus 260. Qualifying 16th, Brianna Cote. And 17th, Sydney Brummett. And our 18th and final qualifier at plus 207 is Nicole Trudell. Those are our ladies who will advance to our finals starting at 2 p.m.
All right, it is official.
Load of cash in 36.
Load of cash.
New Way Fen at plus 71.
Plus 71 was low to cash, and New Way Finn gets that final spot, the cashing spot. Again, we'll start at 2 p.m. Eastern. Unofficially, but official.
Diana Zabialova, you're still in the building. Please come to the front desk.
Get you out of here so you can actually have a match.
Diana Zabialova to the front desk.
That tells me DZ would be 19th then, probably the alternate for match play.
That is correct. That is indeed what that means. Unfortunately, Hosan, it will be the first time that we will not have Kelly Kulik as a competitor. As an athlete, it looks like as part of the Tour Championship, if those numbers remain the same. All of them, of course, not official yet, but it took a lot. We knew that coming in. The players knew it. It was going to take some efforts from several players and some help from others to get certain people in. And from a Rookie of the Year perspective, we do believe that that honor will belong to Valerie Bercier, but we will make it all official, so be on the lookout for all of those items, or at least the Rookie of the Year part, certainly in the next couple of days. We know the trophy's here, just in case some things weren't going to go, the way players planned them. So we can be prepared in preparation to present the award if necessary, and it looks like we will have that potential opportunity to do so. Daniel Farish is kind of doing some final adjustments at the moment to his spreadsheet in regards to the Tour Championship. And, well, it looks like
Still, the top 16 stays the same, but here's the problem, is that Tanya Romanper, who is in 16th place, did not make the cut. The 3 players in front of her can only advance, get more points, and they're not going to topple over top of her. Behind her, however, you've got Birgit Poplar, who could possibly jump her. The good thing for Tanya is that Birgit at this point would have to make TV to jump her, and Sherry below her would have to win. So Tanya not in as bad a spot as I thought she might be, especially with Diana not making the cut at the tournament. So we still do have some drama left.
indeed a couple of firsts. From a player perspective, I think this might be also the first time the Rookie of the Year will not make it to the Tour Championship in a sense as well. But those things happen. It is what it is. So it looks like at the moment, Birgit Poplar, because she's still in the tournament, she can qualify for match play, is the last player to have a chance at earning a spot at this moment in the Tour Championship. So it is between Tanya Romanper and Birgit Poplar. And again, by our numbers, all unofficial, of course, but Birgit, she has been given basically the minimum amount of points that she can earn. Essentially being in 6th, she would have to make television, top 5 make TV. That would put her over the top. It looks like she might even have to win a match.
By my unofficial math, Birgit would need 2nd.
She would need to finish 2nd.
To jump Tanya.
To jump Tanya Romanper to make the Tour Championship. So still some intrigue. What if she won? Just for all intents and purposes. Well, if she happened to win, then that put her just above she'd make it, obviously, and then move up the points list for seeding purposes to Tour Championship, and that's going way, way, way down there.
Yeah.
In places we don't have to go right now. So
correct.
Here it is. That's what we have for you. Pamela, you're 100% correct, and that's what we all want. A strong tour, a tour to continue to get stronger. And each and every year we get surprised, if you will, by how great these players are. So we won't hold you any longer. Congratulations to the 18 players who have qualified for match play, and all 32, of course, who have cashed in this event. Congrats to those, unfortunately, who will not be participating in the Tour Championship. Congrats to them on a great season. The learning, the experiences, even the negative stuff, even the tough stuff. It's all a part of becoming a better bowler. We look forward to match play and, of course, winding it all down till Friday night when we'll know our top 5 players who will compete for a major championship. Don't forget, 2 p.m. Eastern Time is when match play will begin. Not 1, but 2 p.m. Eastern Time. There's some inclement weather in the area, so hopefully all will be good, and we'll have enough time to do what we have to do, and hopefully the players will as well, and everyone locally, from a weather perspective, will be solid. That'll do it for us here. So for Daniel Farish, Aaron Smith, and Curtis Von Kruger, to Neil Milligan, Kathy Waka, Kathy Kavicki, my name is Emil Williams Jr. We will see you at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Back with you for match play. This has been a presentation of the QubicaAMF PWBA Players Championship. You've watched it live, and you have watched it only.
Valerie Burse here. If you're still in the building, please come to the front counter. Your order is ready.
On Bowl TV. Thanks, folks.